How's it going, everybody? This is the Redeye stream number 98. The gun grabbers go marching two by two. Hurrah! No. Um, okay, so everybody already knows there's massive protests against what are they protesting against? Do they even know? Is it all guns? Is it bump stocks? What's going on?
Yes.
Kids want to stop getting shot in school?
No, because if they wanted to stop getting shot in school, they would, I don't know, arm the teachers. So that can't be it. Logically, that just can't be it.
There are a number of things that could go wrong with that, number one. There are alternative solutions very similar. I mean, I might be more comfortable having some vets there, but it's just in the age of social media and everything, you look at what's happening. Like this, everybody sees it. You see the images and stuff. And like if there is a legitimate fear about that, the kids have a point.
No, they don't have a point. Okay.
Well,
they're children. They've got a childlike outlook on things.
They don't have agency.
And they're being used like Santa Anna's wooden leg, waving his bloody leg. All right, these kids are being used by a bunch of freaking leftists who want to ban guns. That's it. It is nothing more complicated than that. These kids are being told a lie. It's a simplistic view of looking at it, and they go right on in. I had one of them crying to me about, well, kids are so fearful going to school every day. You know, they've got all these things. It's the same crap, all right, that we heard in the 60s and the 70s. It could be a nuclear war, and people did the duck and cover, and I was so scared when I had to do the duck and cover, you know, because nuclear war is bad. And the same groups of people are protesting. The same groups of people are organizing. It's all the same. This has nothing to do with saving anyone. They don't care about kids, and they never will.
But MC, that's not true. One school superintendent decided to arm the students with river rocks so they could defend themselves. You see, they care so much that they decided to take giant 5-gallon buckets and just fill them with rocks so they could throw them at the shooters.
Better than nothing.
Works in Saudi Arabia for gay people and cheating wives. I mean, what? My mic was on? Fuck.
Oh,
yeah. Well, it is an oversimplification. And there definitely are folks acting for their political agenda, because it always is. Why? Because, hey, you're getting paid money to do it. I get that. But it's just...
Memes, you don't want more guns in the classroom, right? I have another solution. Homeschool.
That is an option.
Let me ask a question.
Teachers that have had literally mental breakdowns, and I probably wouldn't want them to have guns. Some alternative resource officer or a job program for some veterans sounds like a pretty decent idea.
How about having sheriff's deputies that are willing to sit up there and go into a shooting situation and put the shooter down?
We don't know.
How about having a sheriff's department actually, when they are notified that someone's a psycho and is threatening people, actually arrest the person and put him in jail?
I would concur with that.
If you come back and tell me, well, you got to do something, how about hire the right people? All right. How about when you sit up there and vote, you don't vote in people that turn a blind eye to crime. You don't vote for people who will pay schools, all right, to avoid convicting children or putting their children on some kind of blotter, all right, so they can sit up there and reduce the quote unquote numbers of racial disparities in schools of people that are being disciplined. How about you start voting for people who are actually going to uphold the law? Well, and if you don't like a law and you don't like the way it's being a law because it's being enforced, then get off your ass and vote for people, your representatives, to change that law. That's why you have representatives.
Well, I have 2 points I want to throw in here. Okay, first off, didn't somebody shoot the shooter, and isn't he arrested now? Wasn't he called a piece of crap? or something like that. Somebody was I have to look up the story. I swear I heard something about that. But number two, the voting public, the people that are going to be voting MC in the future are these assholes marching. Okay? So nobody's going to vote the good people in, all right?
They voted to make their children unsecure, and they voted for their children to get shot. That's who. Every time you vote for those kinds of people, that's what you get.
Well, luckily we got fucking based high school students like fucking Kyle Kashuv. Is that his name? I just found him on Twitter today. And Kyle Kashuv was he was one of the students at that school that we still can't say the fucking name of. But he's been arguing actually with one of the other students. What the fuck was his name? David Hogg. That's his name.
Oh my god.
The fucking the scrawny little fucking soy boy that's out roasting people or
the little proto-Marxist who's too much of a coward to actually engage with people. All right,
Wait,
to have a discussion. You mean that little guy?
Yeah, that little fuck boy. And fucking Kyle, this kid's so fucking based, and he's reaming this fucking David Hogg kid. It's fucking funny. He's just on Twitter roasting him.
Nice.
Wait, you're saying kids that go to the same school, 1 degree on everything?
What? No way.
Well, I think it's hilarious though that they pushed so hard for this gun control, and then the school's like, okay, we don't trust you guys having backpacks that we can't see through. So, all you students hiding your weed in your backpack, yeah, we're gonna find that now.
See, that was the funniest part. These people they want more government interjection into their daily lives, and what they get is not gun control, they get backpack control. That's what's the funniest part about this, is they don't realize that, like, oh, well, it's a First Amendment issue, I should be able to my backpack. But, you don't have any other rights without the Second Amendment.
So what you're saying is a lot of these kids just left class to be able to leave class.
Well, yeah, and these kids don't have rights. I remember making that argument in high school.
Somehow I think I've taken reasons to leave class.
Yeah.
I think I remember doing this. I may do the same thing.
I tried to make this exact argument. You can't search my locker. You can't search my backpack inside my locker. And they're like, dude, your parents send you here. You're under our supervision, and this is our property. We can search anything we want. And that's the truth. You're a minor. You don't have any rights. You have no unlawful search and seizure. All you could do is go, hey, you can't touch me without my parents here. That's your defense. You call dad.
Pretty much. I heard a really funny argument though against people when people say that, like, oh, well, why do you need that? Well, it's not called the Bill of Needs, it's the Bill of Rights.
Well, that was more of the, oh, fuck, we need to include this shit.
Who are you to define what I need and what I don't need?
Exactly.
Right, and this becomes the issue. As soon as you start turning this kind of crap over to them, well, then you don't need that car. I'm going to give that car to somebody else. You don't need that jar of honey. I'm going to take that honey and give it to somebody else. This is the road they want to push.
MC, how dare you steal Pooh Bear's honey? You will be a very sad bear.
I don't want to live in a Marxist society where they redistribute the wealth of honey to the poor.
Well, and I can give you an example of where you would need an AR-15. You're living in Arizona out by the border on a ranch by yourself, where these drug smugglers and these coyotes are bringing people and weapons and drugs across. You would need something. Oh, yeah. You would need something high capacity, semi-automatic to defend yourself. You're not going to go out there with a 30-30.
Well, I mean, exactly. Either that or a big wall.
Not to mention the fact that there's probably actual coyotes out there.
Well, there are real coyotes. That's true.
Yeah, real coyotes, and the two-legged kind aside. It's funny, when I went down to Aravaca, Arizona, maybe a month ago, and to do some backwoods off-roading and stuff. And they actually have signs posted through most of the national forest over there that you might come across people doing illegal activities and border crossing. Shit, I accidentally illegally crossed the border into Mexico, not knowing it because I was so damn close to it, and I got run up on by 2 border patrolmen. That's why we need a wall.
Wait, Mexican or U.S. Border Patrol?
U.S.
He wouldn't be here if it was Mexican.
Yeah.
That's not a joke.
No,
that is not a joke. If he would have been caught by the Mexican authorities going the other way, he would be in one of their prisons right now. He wouldn't be given any rights. He wouldn't be told, "Hey, Gringo, go back to your side of the border." He would be taken into custody and thrown in prison.
Well,
Dude,
yeah,
don't you wish you had a wall to keep you from like fucking up?
Well, that's what happens along the San Diego border, right? Right there along the border, outside of San Diego. Isn't there a road where if you take a right, it's the wrong way and you go into Mexico on accident?
There's like a lot of that, but right down at the border of Arizona and Mexico, it's not like the giant neon sign that says "Welcome to Mexico." It's a giant crisscross of national forest roads that aren't exactly marked, and they don't tell you where they go, and there's no maps. So unless you have a pretty good GPS, which I typically don't, because I know where I'm going down there, having been on those roads before. I followed a different trail this time, and I just kind of wound up across the border. It's not like there's a big giant dotted line, dotting the landscape across the U.S.-Mexican border. There's no clear demarcation for it.
They should do that. They do that up north along the Canadian-American border.
They have a giant cartoonish, like black or red dotted line.
It's a white line, yeah, and it goes right through the middle of a town, actually.
Yeah,
that's pretty neat.
In the built-up areas, yes, but in the forested areas, there's nothing stopping you from walking across. You go in Montana and you could easily walk across the border in several areas of Montana, up in Canada.
Northeast.
Yeah, Trailer Park Boys did an episode like that where they stole the Swayze train and they used it to smuggle weed across the border. It's a great episode, but yeah,
that is a fucking good episode. Oh, Jesus.
It's a lot more porous than people realize. And the problems, there are enough problems as it is. All right. The fact that we have to hit 2 for English or hit 1 for English is a problem. It means Americans can't communicate with other Americans. That's a problem in the country. There never should be a time period in this country where you have to hit a different number, all right, in order to sit up there and hear a language you can understand.
Well, it'd be nice if more folks kind of learn the language of the land, but it also goes back to, I still remember the day when I had to dial the area code to talk to somebody.
Yeah,
that was a travesty, man.
It's not the same thing, dude. It really isn't.
I know it isn't, but it's one of those things. It has changed. And a lot of this is, we've been saying we should do something about immigration for 20 years, and we just haven't, man. And now President Trump is just, President Obama did a lot of deportation.
No. This all started under Reagan because he was promised by the Democrats that this was going to be a one-time thing by your big, grand, and glorious Senator Ted Kennedy. All right, where we would do this one time, and we won't do it again, and that this will solve the issue. And instead, what did we get? You got duplicitous deals. You've got them where they continually refuse to live up to their obligations of actually funding the border walls, which is also something Reagan wanted, and constant sitting up their duplicity from Congress. And of course, the press is so one-sided, all right, that you can't get people to understand what's really going on because it's hidden from them. They would rather talk about things like, look, President Trump 10 years before he was elected, well, he slept with a porn star. And this is national news.
Trump supporters are more hardened for it.
Not for a day, not for a week, but for over 2 months now, this has been going on.
Yeah. No, and have you noticed this is the first time it's been mentioned on the Redeye? Because I don't give a fuck about him banging a porn star. I don't care.
Folks didn't care about Clinton getting a BJ and except I know there's more than that in the Oval Office. They decided they didn't care.
And that's the exact point. Of course nobody cares about that. But see, the problem is what they were hiding. And they're still hiding. It's the same tactic. They haven't changed. These people are the same as they've always been.
So, MC, how many Republicans vehemently went for border funding as well, specifically to build a barrier?
It's not Republicans, it's liberals. And there's plenty of quote-unquote Republicans that are liberals.
Yeah, I can name you one right now. Donald fucking Trump after that bill he signed, sir.
Oh, the salt. The salt.
I'm not happy about that bill either.
Let's hear it.
Oh, yeah. Are they even going to build the wall? All he did was give in to the fucking Democrats on everything. Even Rand Paul's like, what are you doing, dude? He sat there and fucking read it. The only senator to fucking read the bill. Of course, it's Rand Paul. This shit pisses me off. I told you, and I've been telling you, he's a fucking Democrat. He always has been, and he always will be. Told you so.
Hey, do not take Bret Hart's saying in vain.
I'm not willing to sit up there and say after a single thing, because this is the only thing that he's done that's really irritated me, that he was really wrong about.
Have you seen the numbers? They're lowering the border patrol. They can't even hire enough border patrol now to bring in the amount of immigrants that he wanted to do.
How long is the spending bill for?
Fair enough, but it's going to be raised again. There's going to be another argument.
And Trump has promised that he won't do this again. Now we'll see if he lives up to his promises to the American people or not.
Or are you expecting a politician to live up to his promises, MC?
I expect Trump to live up to his promises, yes, and I do expect politicians to live up to their promises.
I expect like 60%. That's what I want. I want a 60% margin, or else I'm going to call you out. And I don't think Trump's at 60%.
What do you mean Trump's not at 60%?
Why are you talking about for the deal?
Because that one bill puts a fucking wrench in the border wall. It puts a wrench in the border patrol.
It doesn't put a wrench in the border wall in any way, shape, or form.
It's about $700 billion on defense-related things, I thought.
It is $700 billion.
And then it does fund a lot of things that the Democrats want. So he basically just gave about $1.3 trillion in pork and security-related expenses.
Didn't the Democrats get one fucking overpass or bridge or something that is pretty much
Schumer got something like that? Yeah, Schumer did.
Okay, so you're giving out pork barrel projects, and you're saying you're a fiscal conservative. I call bullshit.
He did also pass tax reform. You got to give your opponents on whatever side something once in a while.
No, why? What's the point of having the Senate and the House? But what's the point in having both the House and the Senate?
Hold on a second. You're conflating two things automatically, and you know that isn't true. All right, you know, all right, that there are more than two, all right, leftists, all right, that have the R by their name. I can think of 5 off the top of my head.
Do we have to count the one with brain cancer?
You can talk to
Oh my God.
So see, Stonewall lives here. He knows too. There's one. All right. His compatriot Flake is 2. Susan Collins is 3. Lindsey Graham is 4. Bob Corker is 5. Do you wish for me to go on? The problem isn't Republican, Democrat. The problem are leftists. If you sit up there and support leftists and you think, well, I'll vote for, but I'm a centrist, really. I'm going to vote for centrism. Show it to me. Show me the grand, glorious centrist that's out there.
You know how I would have showed it to you? I would have vetoed the bill and told them to bring me back another one that without pork barrel project.
He would have been called the centrist? Are you out of your mind?
I don't care what he would have been called. He would have been right.
I don't disagree with you there.
To be fair to President Trump, he was asking for a line item, and I'm not even sure how that works, but that would make things.
I know exactly how the line item veto works. It was in the Confederate Constitution, and literally he could take any bill and he can go, well, this spending is good. This is good. This bridge to nowhere in Mississippi, no, and he vetoes that one spending line.
Okay, so does he send it back to Congress for them to reappropriate or?
Then he just signs it. Oh. He vetoes what he doesn't want in it, and then he signs the rest of the bill. If I'm correct, MC, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, we don't know because there is no such thing as a veto. Okay.
We didn't write into the current Constitution as we as we have it.
Well, and that's exactly right. In order for you to have a line item veto, you have to change the Constitution of the United States.
Should we?
There are a lot
just adapt the Confederate Constitution. You'll be good.
No, we have to also ask this: how could it be abused?
We can't outlaw slavery. Good plan.
Oh, you can leave line item veto, MC. Leave that part out. God damn.
Oh, I heard Confederate Constitution. I got a little excited. So yes.
Oh dear.
Well, that's one of the few really, really good things that were in the Confederate Constitution, and it was that line item veto. It's in there. I own the Constitution for the Confederacy, so
you have a copy of it. You don't own it.
I have the copy of it in the back of a book. Even it's not even like I bought just the Confederate Constitution. So yeah, it's even
knowledge.
I approve of that.
But let's look at it this way. It's just, if President Trump could also hold this over some of his opponents' heads, how could he do this? He still has the DACA thing that, I mean, he can hold that over their head for the wall and stuff like that. And come on, it's like, you're really not going to spend $24 billion for something more than they originally wanted. That seems like a pretty good deal there.
Mims, you mean he didn't concede enough with this bill? I thought he was giving the Democrats a bone to get some help with the wall.
No, he is, but he can hold it over their head, say, hey, listen, I funded your shit. I gave you guys $1.3 trillion worth of things that you wanted. Now you guys got to work with me. That's the whole point of negotiation and stuff.
Yeah, but they're not going to.
He's been hardline, but you can't always be hardline.
But he's not going to. But they're not going to do that. That's immaterial. They're not going to do that. They're not going to sit up there and do that, and they don't.
Oh, they won't listen, but he can make commercials out of it. And
he can make commercials, but he has to get them played. All right, they have already. He just
does the same thing he always does.
Some of the outlets have already refused to sit there and play some of his commercials. All right,
no, that's an issue. This is
okay. So we have we're going to be. This is going to be getting into a further area. And if I was going to be generous with Trump, one thing that concerns me more than anything else is, all right, yes, we have issues in the military that need to be addressed and addressed immediately. Okay, when a quarter of your airframes in the United States Navy won't fly, okay, because they're down for maintenance or something else, you have problems, and these problems need to be fixed. And if they're that broad-based and systemic, it's a major problem. And the Navy is what we use for force projection. All right, it's the number one component for it. All right, so what worries me is, okay, what is Trump planning that he quote unquote needs $700 billion immediately? All right, for the military. That's number one.
Well, we've been having planes literally crash and stuff, and that's not good, man.
We've always had planes crash. We've never had a freaking time period where planes didn't crash.
Well, yes, but if it is from preventable things such as maintenance, that sounds like a big problem.
They're all preventable things. I remember.
Right, hey, I ain't an Air Force guy. I don't know. Are there more?
I remember when a Black Hawk
we can do
with the
Let's not go into the Black Hawk.
I remember when a Black Hawk with the 5th Corps commander, all right, had just taken off and came crashing to the ground, killing him and his entire staff.
Christ.
And what they found was the what they call the Jesus nut at the top of the rotors.
Oh boy.
Had hairline cracks in it. And it broke and sheared, and the plane fell to the ground, or the helicopter fell to the ground, killing all on board. All right. So they did a big investigation, and here's what happened. There was a big push, like there always is in the military, to find ways to reduce costs. And if you see somebody that's overcharging, then you identify that in the logistics chain, and you will be given, you're a hero. We'll give you a little bonus award, blah, 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 blah. Well, one of the enterprising people was looking at the technical specs of the Jesus nut, right, and said, "Wow, they're charging us 3 times the cost of these things, right? The company they're doing it from." So he got this award. What he didn't know was that the manufacturers was doing an extra check, doing a Magnaflux check to ensure that there weren't any microscopic cracks on the Jesus nut, and that only 1/3 of them passed.
Oh God.
Okay, and so basically they gave an award to somebody who made a decision that he thought was right, that literally led directly to the death of the 5th Corps commander and all of his staff.
But he saved money.
No, I mean the government saved a lot of money. He himself he got money for it. That's the kind of waste and stuff that you end up with in the military. This is the kind of things that happen. Okay, the military is never going to be this truly grand and glorious efficient machine, because its job is to kill people and break things. That's its job. And if it isn't doing that, it's training to kill people and break things so it can do it better than anybody else. That's its purpose in life. So it's never going to be truly efficient. But the fact that we have 1/4, 25% of our airframes, of our fighter jets on those naval carriers are down for maintenance at any point in time, that's a major problem.
No, I agree.
Well, that kind of goes into the issue of where they're saying that these giant super carriers are no longer the future of naval warfare, that they want to size them back down to like a generation ago. What do you think about the scaling back? Should we still be building these super carriers? They're like $6 billion or probably more than that per carrier. And if one gets sunk, your whole Navy's fucked, right?
Kinda. The carrier fleet is rapidly becoming a white elephant for us, in the sense that if we actually ever got into a legit war with somebody who could actually fight back other than desert dwellers, it would be a catastrophic loss for us if we lost a carrier.
Memes, you're echoing, by the way.
Well,
yeah, I mean, a catastrophic, you can say that it's a catastrophic loss, all right, because they take so long to build, which they don't, but they do. Okay.
Not just that, but I mean, you're losing like 3,000 people at a rip. All the supplies.
If you hit a carrier, there's 5,000 people in a carrier. If you kill everybody in the carrier, that's over 5,000 people dead, one shot. But that's the way the Navy is. Okay, I mean, when it comes to the Navy and how the Navy does things, yes, that's the threat of the Navy. Or I shouldn't say the threat. That's the risk that you run with that. Now, when they talk about, is it a white elephant? Okay, you can look at it that way, but what other choice do you have? All right, if you're going to use some kind of force projection, all right, if you're going to project force, all right, you've got to have carriers. Especially if you're going to project force in the Pacific.
Yeah, you're right, but I don't know. I'm not a big Navy guy, so I don't know the name of the new super carrier class. But what people like Black Pigeon Speaks were saying is they should go away from that new class that they just started and go back to what the Enterprise was and stuff like that, where you still have carriers, but they're not so gigantic that they're taking up a bulk of not only your funding, but of the, manning them and everything else. I mean, that's a giant city out on the ocean, a giant target, right?
Yeah, but it's a moving target.
It is a giant target, but also, Black Pigeon Speaks, I do like him a lot. He's got great content, but he's also not a military strategist in the least. And on top of that, he's a tea leaf. He's an Englishman. So, I don't really trust his opinion on what America should be doing with its naval fleet or in any of its military, really, considering, his country relies on us. They're our lapdog, basically.
Okay, yeah, so here's the question. Would you
Let
rather...
me throw this out real quick, MC. Let me throw it out real quick. What about the idea of a nimbler and smaller Navy that can get in more places faster and have almost the same amount of strength? Which is what I'm looking at when you look at a medium-sized carrier. I mean, it'd still be still be high tech, it'd still be modern. It would just be a little bit smaller and more maneuverable and able to get, places faster.
Well, I mean, speed's kind of irrelevant if you can't throw a hell of a punch when you get there. If we have to engage our carrier fleet somewhere, it's like a oh shit kind of deal because something very bad has happened.
Well, it's mostly a projection of force, I think, like MC was saying. Like, if all of a sudden you want to say, well, something's going on, all of a sudden, you send a couple of carriers over there, a few destroyers. It's so you have the ability to project force if necessary via aircraft carrier, via rail gun, via whatever the heck you want to use. Like MC said, the military's there to break shit and blow stuff up. I mean, as efficiently as possible.
Would a medium carrier not do that job? It did for decades and decades. We just now are trying to modernize to the super carrier, and it's really expensive. It's kind of like these airplanes that they were building that are super expensive and not really that much better.
But why are they expensive? What's the major cost?
I would think running it would be the major cost for a gigantic aircraft carrier and feeding the troops and everything else.
Feeding it and stuff. I mean, the same number of troops is the same number of troops. The same number of sailors is the same number of sailors. All right. Yeah, you have fewer sailors, but that's not why the cost of those things is like that. The reason those things are costing that has to do with everything else that's put into it. All right. All the subsidiaries, all the electronics. All right. All the defense mechanisms. All right. Yes, you have radar, but you also have jamming technology. You also have phalanx systems on there. You have several interdiction systems being placed on those carriers. This is the reason those costs are so much higher. So the idea that you can sit up there and go, okay, we'll just downsize that those costs are going to go away. No, those costs aren't going to go away. In fact, what you're going to basically do is increase cost overall because you're still going to have to put those same packages, but now on more systems. Now, granted, you become less vulnerable if one of those carriers gets taken out, right? You don't lose as much of an asset. For right now, I think we have 10 Nimitz-class carriers, which are the super carriers that you're talking about.
Nimitz, thank you. I was still trying to figure out what class that was. Thank you.
And if we lost a Nimitz-class carrier, all right, we lose 10% of naval air power. All right, we lose 10% just with that one carrier going of naval air power in a projection kind of a theater. Now, how then do you go about it? Yes, you could spread these things out, but think of the cost. Think of the times it comes from ships. Think of the yards that need to put this into place. There's a reason people built big.
Well, not to mention, you have to have the battleships and the submarines to protect the carriers. So,
we have no battleships.
Whatever, the escort ships and the fucking submarines that are around it. I'm thinking World War II in my head when I'm talking about these fucking carriers, dude.
I mean, so you're saying they can't sink our battleship?
we currently have no active battleships in the Navy, with the exception of the USS Arizona. All right, which is at the bottom of Pearl Harbor.
Wait, it's still active?
Yes.
They never. Okay.
That's one of the ways they honor the dead there. Because
okay, no, that's what I kind of thought though.
You can never have a ship named the Arizona, all right, if it's active. So you can't have another USS Arizona.
Well, yeah, that, and like every 2 years they dredge it up and they kind of like sail it around the harbor a little bit and then just kind of put it back. I've heard.
What? Why don't you just retire the name USS Arizona like they retired Michael fucking Jordan's jersey? I mean, come on.
It's a military thing. I have no problem with it.
Wait, they raise it from the depths? What are they turning into, like a Dracolich or something?
No, he was.
I mean, aren't they disturbing like resting souls? Like
he was pulling your leg. It does not get drenched.
Oh, I'm like, what the? I mean, aside from the environmental, like fucking with the reef, I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't expect the Hawaiians to do that, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
Oh, that was good. That was totally worth it.
You could be a real dick, you know that, Jackson? It was funny though.
Yes.
No, because it was the combination that you said it was still active, and I'm like, it's still active? And you're like, yeah, and you explained why. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And he's like, Oh no, yeah, they pull up from the harbor every year. I'm just like, what?
Yeah, I take it you've never been to the
Yeah,
memorial.
they take it for a victory lap.
No, it doesn't move. It's one of the most visited sites by the Japanese, actually.
They fucking would. They would.
Fucking goddamn right it is.
Yeah. So, but anyway, that's if you're talking force projection, if you're talking, naval efficiency, all right. I've heard this efficiency crap for a long time, and there's truth to it, but there's also the bad things with it. Whenever somebody says, "Well, we're going to use this method to increase combat force multipliers," right? What that basically means is that they're going to come back with some system to use fewer troops or fewer men to do quote unquote the same job. And there are points to that. However, there's limitations to that nobody ever wants to talk about. One of the problems that we had in Iraq, to be honest, was the fact that we had gotten so far into that a lot of our support elements had been turned over to contractor maintenance. And much of the contractor maintenance, even though the contractors themselves were, they signed documents that said, if you are going to win this contract, you have to provide people, all right, in case of a war, to go to these dangerous areas and these war zones. And those contractors then had people sign disclaimers that said if a war started, they would be willing to go to the war. Well, as soon as the war started, all those people said, "Oh, fine, I signed that, but I'm not going. Fire me." And so basically you ended up with a logistical nightmare, all right, in an attempt to do things that from decisions that had been made for the quote unquote peace dividend that was out there.
No, that makes a lot of sense. No, because I remember they were trying to call up a lot of folks from the Corps back up and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I happened to be one of them, and I wasn't happy about it.
Oh, yeah. No, I heard some of those stories. It's like, yeah, you really want to, but it kind of sounds like what you're saying, MC, is to subdivide the military tonnage basically into smaller vessels. It's kind of more cost effective in our current iteration to basically do the economy of scale with all the different weapon systems and everything that would need to be applied. But yeah, it's like you said, it's very expensive. It kind of sounds like building a Bentley that's like 1,000 feet long and then making it seaworthy.
Well, basically, yeah. I mean, that is what you're basically doing. But that's one of the reasons why they want these large carriers. Now, there's advantages to those large carriers as well. All right. Not the least of which is during the recent typhoon that hit Hawaii. All right. Hawaii's power grid was completely supplied by a carrier.
Wait, they couldn't do that for Puerto Rico, though?
No.
Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory. Why are you saying no that way, MC?
I don't think their grid's set up the same way.
Puerto Rico is a U.S. protectorate. Thank you very much.
It is a territory. It is one step away from statehood. It could be the next state if they ever get their head out of their ass and actually vote to join.
Which is a protectorate.
Well, they did vote to join.
The problem with doing that, all right, with Puerto Rico, wasn't the fact that you could generate power. The problem wasn't power generation. The problem was power distribution. And they had their grid didn't exist. They don't have a grid. They just had wires that somebody ran up a pole. And when those poles got knocked down, the whole okay, you're not going to have power. Power doesn't fly through the air.
Well, MC, I assume Hawaii would be kind of more set up for this, seeing as if they have a very large naval presence, then it wouldn't make sense if you have nuclear powered vessels that could provide power that they might be more set up for.
Well, it's the fact that you had a modern U.S. grid. You didn't have the kind of ridiculousness that you had take place in Puerto Rico.
fun interjection here. I'm an electrician. I actually know a little bit about this. Puerto Rico's power grid is not set up the same way ours is. They actually do 277 out of their common outlet.
Yeah, but that's just a base down transformer. You got to remember what they're actually generating on those carriers is actually 400 hertz. So you've already got to do some kind of conversion process. The conversion process is not extensive. I mean it's fairly straightforward. I mean, they have this technology to do this, but the biggest problem
for widespread distribution.
But the distribution network was totally gone because they never really had one that was really put up in any way, shape, or form. And so when the hurricane destroyed all their lines and all their substations and everything else, they had no way of recovering from it in a short period of time.
Yeah,
there's also the fact that one of the reasons we don't have a large naval presence down there anymore is because the Puerto Ricans didn't want it.
Who cares what they want? They're United States territory. They don't really get to dictate what they want, right?
Protectorate.
No, the U.S. military wanted to go into the territory of New Mexico. It went into the territory of New Mexico. That's just the way it was.
That's because they technically own all the more than half of the state.
Well, Puerto Rico's pretty fucked up. Maybe Trump should just buy.
I think we should just sell Puerto Rico when we do the sale with California, to be honest.
Wait, we're selling California? I thought we decided on nuking it.
Well, you're sort of going to have to nuke it because who the fuck would buy it?
Whoa, hold on, guys. Whoa. I'm just doing some research here on Puerto Rico because the topic came up. Apparently, it is 75% white.
Yeah, tax dodgers.
What's considered white?
I'm not sure, but Wikipedia says it is.
All right, if you're saying Hispanic is white, then yeah, it is. I mean, there are plenty of people, don't get me wrong, that can trace their lineage for both parents straight back to, European ancestry, and you could therefore technically say that they're white. But there's many people in America that are mixed. In fact, I would say that close to half are mixed up to some degree or another, of Native American, of Hispanic, of something.
I think the current definition is if you're at least 50%, 56% European, you're good according to the alt-right.
Oh, is that how it works?
that's what everybody decided.
They had a clan meeting, and that's what they came up with.
I guess so.
So they had all their genomes sequenced.
Oh, please.
Wait, so were they actually able to figure out what Richard Spencer couldn't? What white actually is?
Richard Spencer's a fucking retard. He sounds really smart to people who aren't educated, but at the same time, anybody who's got two brain cells to rub together can see that he just is really good at being verbose.
Well, no, and like when he was talking about the white people, he brought up Germanic tribes and stuff, and I'm just thinking they were called Germanic by the Romans because they all kind of spoke the same language. They weren't the same race. So that's a stupid argument. And I don't know, not to go split off on the Spencer's bullshit. It's just the definition of white seems to be really fluid these days.
I mean, I don't know, dude. I got to get a 23andMe to make sure that I'm not like 30% African or some shit, but I'm like fairly confident in my my Nordic heritage.
I say if you're worried that you're 30% African, you're probably 45, man. I wouldn't get the test.
I'd say it doesn't freaking matter.
It doesn't, really. Unless you ask my great-grandmother who did our family tree and just stopped in 1845. The family doesn't know why she stopped. She just stopped. So there is
she's giving you a job to do. Now it's your job to carry on and see how much further, how far you can dig. And maybe you'll get your castle. Wouldn't bet on it, but maybe you'll get it.
Or maybe you'll get your African mud hug if you're 45%
Oh.
African.
Do I get to be a Kang? I want to be a Kang.
It's the current year, dude. You can identify however the fuck you want. Like race is just a social construct, just like gender and many other things.
Then how the fuck are only white? How are only white people racist then? If it's just a construct?
Because autism.
Hey, Loafer, you've only got a few more years till you're totally freaking institutionalized. I've been married for over 30 now, so. Sorry, didn't mean to break that in. I was responding to Loafer in the chat. He's complaining because he's now been married for 10 years. He says for second-degree murder, you only get 7.
That's fun. Good to know.
I haven't even hit the first year of my term.
Anyway, sorry for the non sequitur.
Well, Cabbage just joined us. Let's get back to these fucking protests, all right? Because we didn't even dig into that, really. We jumped off on the fucking military shit. I mean, seriously, Cabbage, what do you think from the outside looking in? A bunch of Americans want to give up their gun rights. Are you over there in Britain just drinking your tea, laughing?
Well, Dankula, we have nothing to fucking laugh about, do we?
Oh my god. I almost forgot about that.
Yeah, so no. Bad.
2018,
no, I think...
the year comedy died.
Yeah, seriously.
They have their own issues, that's true.
Yeah.
40 ounce. How big was the protest over by you in Northern California?
Dude, as far as I know, there actually wasn't much protest. What was that stupid fucking thing called? March for Our Lives or something?
March for Our Lives.
It's the fucking dumbest thing I ever
Well, you
heard.
see, Madodge, mentioning Count Dankula wasn't just for the joke. I mean, it's also, you actually have a constitution, the one thing we don't have. When you give it up, you are going to end up like us. And I mean, every amendment of that constitution should be held sacred.
Thank you for saying that, Cabbage. Thank you for saying that, because I've been saying this for like a decade now, that the UK has always been and always will be about 10 years ahead of America in terms of the social zeitgeist.
Yeah, you want to know who walked out of school in my neck of the woods? Fucking nobody.
Well, wait. Didn't you have like a complaint with your school, like for your kid, like a week or two ago or something like that, where they kind of took him out?
Yeah, where they forced him to do the walkout. Like everybody did it, including the teachers. So if he would have just sat there, he probably would have got in trouble. Yeah. I think it's great they did this one on a weekend. So he wouldn't have been doing it anyway. And 2, it's his spring break. So unless his mother took him to downtown Eugene today, which I doubt, he was nowhere near it.
That's good. I don't know if autism is airborne or not, but I'm pretty sure it's contagious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't want him coming home freaking drawing anti-gun fucking propaganda and shit.
You don't want him in the backyard with a hacksaw freaking sawing the barrel down.
God, I won't get over that. That fucking idiot. Like, these people know so little about guns or gun laws, which they claim to know so much about, that they literally break federal law live on TV, and even the media doesn't know they're doing it. Like, what the fuck?
Dude, the worst part of it. Hold on. Okay, I'm going. The worst part of it is that, they're parading these like 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old kids around like they know fucking dick about shit. I can't even count the number of fucking things that like all the crazy stuff that I used to think when I was younger, like men and women are equal and there's only 2 genders and
Hey, thou shalt not speak ill of the 90s. But can anyone see my screen at all? Is it coming up or negative?
Yeah,
Oh,
are you
yeah,
buy
watching.
are you buying the whole panel, a copy of 1984?
Oh
Or
no,
start-
that was no. I was going to buy Parliament because if you hold on, let me bring it back up. If you actually look at it, basically, I went to Amazon and I got the price for. Actually, I need to order an extra 50 copies because the House of Commons has a total of 650 members. So I was going to get the House of Parliament at their mailing address. Everyone a copy because Donald Trump got every member of the House of Representatives a copy of the Art of the Deal, and I'm good. And you know what? They're gonna have to sell it for paperback because that'd be a little expensive. And then I got them a copy of the movie itself, just in case if they don't really have time to read it. Unfortunately, it is a Region 1 DVD, so it may not work in the UK.
I just want to say two things. One, how many of the rest of us here are hoping he accidentally hits send? I watched footage from.
Well,
these,
no. The interesting thing about that voice is Amazon actually, in order to increase efficiency, sometimes they will actually process an order before you actually pay for it.
Memes. I'm gonna tell you right now, dude. If you buy like a $5,000 order for the UK government, I'm totally bugging you for Patreon like every time I see it.
No. My question is, should we start a Kickstarter for it? Because fuck no, I don't got that money.
No,
Just
you
to
see,
remind them.
I was actually watching these parade, right? And it's the same people, regardless of the city it was in, it was the same people. You had the elderly, who, let's be honest, have nothing else to do but wait to die. You have the students who have nothing better to do but wait and watch the old people die. And then, of course, you have the women who are either unemployed or whose husbands are out earning the fucking living. It's the same people at every single march. You know, it's not people who've actually. Go ahead, MC.
The old people that you're seeing are the baby boomers who want to relive their freaking Glory Halcyon days of the 1960s, looking for the freaking Woodstock they wish they had never left. Right? The young people are just, oh, this is cool. Let's just go wander over here. Therefore, I'm relevant. And then the women that are there, right, are the ones that are going, I can't let my child out, so I'll just kind of meander around to them and go, yeah, everything looks good. I wouldn't necessarily think that they're going to vote that way.
See, I think letting women vote was the worst thing that we've ever done as a country, realistically as a species.
It's true.
I mean, think about it. Just from a logical standpoint, women don't like. If you ever ask a woman why she thinks, gay marriage should be a thing, she'll start off her sentence, and I guarantee to you, every goddamn time it'll be, well, I feel like they should. It's never, a litany of reasons, like her well thought out logic. It's I feel like it.
Exactly.
June will, in this sort of stream with this group of people, you're never going to hear anybody argue against that point.
Well, actually, I don't think women's suffrage was all that bad. But here's a message from my friend Alex Jones to these protesters when they are talking about taking guns.
From my cold dead head, you
Thanks,
I
Alex.
really thought you were gonna play "Turn the Frickin' Frogs Gay" for a second.
That would have been better if he said up there.
I have that one too, but I try to stay on topic.
You need to sit up there and get the one of Mr. Burns from The Simpsons going, release the hounds. Release the dogs.
No, that's a good idea. I'm going to download that clip for a future video because I like putting these little clips in there. I don't care if they take my non-existent ad revenue money.
Yeah,
I think if you shorten the amount you use, it's just you do use very long lengths.
I clipped that Get Rich or Die Trying clip down to 20 seconds. I thought that was good. The cartoon clip was like 50 seconds, and that passed. But they hit me on the Get Rich or Die Trying, of course. They hit me on 50 cents bullshit.
Yeah. Mad Dodge is a strong independent streamer who don't need no monetization.
If you can use under 6 seconds,
they
your
took it
likelihood
away.
of getting through is It's much better.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Who would have thought that 500 bought subscriptions wouldn't end up being Patreons?
Yeah, right.
Dodge 2020.
That's right. No, it looks like I have competition in our own server. Some new guy's going to run in 2020. I don't
Who
know.
is that anyway?
I don't know.
Who is it?
You just invite everybody.
I'm not. I haven't invited anybody recently. Actually,
Is it in your description?
So, probably into one of the old Redeyes. Either that or somebody else is inviting people.
I don't invite fucking anyone. I don't trust new people. I don't like them.
I actually hate most people.
Yeah.
But I mean, does anybody? I mean, really, these kids don't know what they're talking about. Like, one kid was holding a sign that said, "Bump stocks is just the beginning. We want all the guns off the street. Literally all the guns." And this is our youth. This is the future. Okay, unless Voice 40 and I are going to handle shit and make sure we thin the herd a little bit, then we're stuck with these assholes voting for our laws. Why we're old and in bed.
Mod, you have to remember that those kids will never amount to anything. You have to remember that this is their big day in the sun. Do you think, the dyke Mexican girl or the gay guy, that skinny fucking Hobbs cunt who couldn't even pick up an AR-15, are actually going to end up being lawyers or architects or anything fucking useful? No. They're going to love this day in the spotlight, and then they're going to fade away when the next big thing comes along.
I'm not going to say the kid's name because I don't want to be sued, but he might be the next Kip Hinkle. Like, seriously, you see the hatred in his eyes? He's scared of guns because he doesn't want to trust himself with one. It's one of those type of people.
That kid looks like the hipster version of a goth lesbian.
Do not say his damn name. I'm not getting sued. Do not say his name.
Like this. No, that Hob cunt is a Jeffrey Dahmer in waiting, period.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
There's something fucking wrong with that kid. You look at his eyes and he is fucking psycho.
No, I'm telling you, like, there's that hatred there. Like, my son will give it to me when I try to take his phone away. That I want to murder you look. But that kid has it all the time. I don't know.
Let's not hate on children here. Let's hate on the folks that may use them for their own
stop
purposes.
Right there, memes. Is he a child or is he a young adult?
Yeah, and he's 17, and does he feel like he has the right to tell
happens to have a disability?
Yeah.
I don't care. His disability doesn't matter when it comes to... He got how much money from these groups to push his anti-gun agenda. He is their poster boy. By God, I'll take a swing or two.
His school got shot up, so he
so did Thurston
maybe
High.
He does believe
So did Thurston High, and you didn't see them pulling this shit. Nobody was rolling up with checks and fucking bus or plane tickets, dude. They were like, go to counseling and go back to school. They're right back in school 3 days later. No walkouts.
Why weren't folks getting behind him? Was he the one that was like on Fox News? Or
hold on, Memes. I just want to point out that I was a 13-year-old kid living in New York at the time, and I watched the fucking towers come down live on television. That kid doesn't know what fucking fear is.
I remember that, dude. I remember watching that at school. That was, yeah.
Well, no. Why did the Sandy Hook students not get?
Well, I have to say, just before we get
everywhere.
off this,
why are these guys so special that they are now going to be rich and famous?
12.
I have to say, before we get off the subject of the Twin Towers, I have to actually thank the Muslims who did that, because it got me a day off work. So, Allah.
Thanks.
Well, it did, because we were here. I was working down south at the time, and the company I was working for, it was a big company, and this happened, and says, right, well, we're going to take a day off in solidarity with Americans, and I was like, yeah. Oh, people died. Well,
Did you go home and crack a beer and pour two out, one for each tower?
Let me ask you guys a question. How many of these people that you see marching and everything else, walking down the street, how many have ever, do you think ever, attended a Veterans Day memorial?
Fucking none. And listen, I think I have a solution to all this. Okay, first we raise the voting age to 30. If you're still a liberal leftist at age 30, then I can't really be that mad at you because you were born fucking retarded.
No, I would disagree, Juno. I would say not make the age 30. I would say when you start paying taxes. When you start 30. Contributing to society, you get to vote.
So if you start working at 15, you can vote?
Well,
yeah.
No. I don't necessarily want to move away from the gun thing yet either, because there was a student, he didn't bring a gun to school. He didn't do anything wrong. He went shooting with his grandparents and his parents like they do like once a month. And he put a picture on Facebook of him shooting I think it was a 30-30 is what it looked like.
A cowboy gun.
Yeah, just a 30-30 rifle at the shooting range, and he got expelled. Okay, this is getting ridiculous.
What?
This is out of hand. Yeah.
They expelled a 5-year-old for chewing a Pop-Tart in the shape of a gun.
That was at least. Wait a minute, though. MC. That's at least in the school. This was at home with his parents.
Pop-Tart.
Yeah. How old can you be to hunt with your dad? 13. This kid was like 16 or 17.
5, and it was a Pop-Tart.
I gotcha.
I'm not condone the discrimination against poster-based race.
I'm talking about a digital picture, though, on a website that the school has nothing to do with.
Yes.
How do they even have grounds to expel him?
We're talking about having a concealed pastry license, okay, Redeye? All right.
No, you do make a good point. Why are the schools going out of their way to take a look at your social media accounts? All right, if these schools need all this money because these teachers are so busy, how is it that they have time to go meandering through the students' freaking social media accounts?
Because they're women.
Have you ever like seen what school admins do mostly during the day? All they do is like mostly teachers too. Mostly all they do is fucking gossip, do bullshit on the computer, and just fucking assign classwork without actually like teaching anything. They'll give like a 5-minute lesson. And then the rest of the time will be for doing, half of your homework and then like half bullshitting.
Is that true? I haven't been in public school in a while.
I mean, this was 10
my
years
teachers
ago.
actually used to teach.
No, this was 10 years ago. Well, actually, no, it would be over 10 for me. But, figure about 12 to 13 years ago, that's what was going on in high schools then. And that was before a lot of social media took off and there was a lot of distractions. I mean, YouTube was in its infancy then.
Could it be a school district thing? Because if that's happening, that seems very disingenuous.
Well, memes, it seems to be an actual systematic problem within the education system. Like, you remember when we were going to school and we had a really bad grade, right? But the term's not up. And your parents told you, get that grade up. What did you do? You went to the teacher and went, hey, can I, get some extra credit and stuff? And maybe if you ace the next test, you could pull that F up. I told my son
that's one of those things. You want to actually help. Like if the teacher actually sees you're putting forth a good faith effort, no, of course they're going to help you out. But it just, I always hated for the education thing, teaching towards like these standardized tests and stuff like that. You go from teaching for like a lot of folks that like enjoy teaching to they're teaching towards a test, and you just lose a lot of like the actual passion that can actually be injected in education when you do that, I think.
Yeah,
I think that's an excuse.
No, but
honest to God, that is one of the worst excuses teachers always come up with.
Well, let me finish.
Teachers want to fix. Hold on a second. If teachers want to fix the work environment of their schools, they have the strongest union that in the nation. It's one of the few.
Well, is the union doing its job?
Have you ever seen a teacher go on strike to fix a problem in their schools? No,
They're
they go on
strike.
They go on strike for more money. Less work for more money, like all the other unions, which means they don't give a rat's ass what's going on in their schools.
Okay, but my point's going to be no, I'm not holding on this time.
Okay.
My point's going to be lost in the
Someone
mix.
is echoing. Someone's echoing.
Memes, yeah, thank you, memes. But no, my point's going to get lost in the chamber here. My point was that my son, I told him to go get his F up in language arts, or I'm taking his cell phone. And he went and talked to his teacher not once, but twice. And the second time, he had a note from me saying, "Hey, I know you guys have some extra credit. It's language arts. Have him write a fucking report, do something here." And his teacher refused. So he's going to end up failing the class, and then I'm going to have to work with him because his teacher is being a prick. That being said, my son has all these after school activities for like an hour and a half after school, so he gets home at like 6 something. He doesn't really do anything for half the time. That could be time where he's I don't know, doing that extra credit I wanted him to have. Like when I was a kid, what would have happened? But they're not even doing that anymore. They're kind of setting these kids up to fail.
Well, they're setting kids up because they don't teach kids how to think and analyze and interpret data. They teach them what the right opinions are. And what I was going to say after MC was that I'm a union electrician. I'm the biggest advocate for unions in the world, where appropriate. The teachers union is the biggest fucking blocker to any actual progress being made to fix the educational system because it's a vested interest of them to not let it happen.
Okay,
well, but why is that in their interest for it not to happen?
What?
No, I was saying, like, why is there interest for it not to happen, for it to get better?
Okay, well, think about it this way. The unions, the teachers union collects dues from teachers, whether they're in the union or not, because you can't be forced to join the union, right? So the teachers union gets money regardless. So as long as they continue to exist and things stay the way they are, they're going to continue to be able to influence politics. The problem with this is that things like school choice and charter schools and a lot of other things are getting thrown by the wayside in the interest of keeping teachers unions afloat. And what happens is when school districts run out of money because they just keep asking for raises, they do it. What's the word I'm looking for? It's like it's like first in, last out in terms of layoffs. So like everybody who's been there a long, long time gets to keep their job, while the young guys, the new grads who want to actually like do something and have that young energy, get laid off, let go, fired, whatever the case may be. And what ends up happening is you have all these old fucks who don't give a shit about teaching anymore because they're getting ready to retire and you really can't fire them, are sitting in class collecting money, and the people who actually want to try and teach people and actually want to fix things are getting thrown out on the cold.
So it's basically just really tenure-based right now.
Essentially, yeah. I mean, if in order for you to get fired as a teacher, you'd have to do something, completely egregious. Like you got to be caught, like, banging one of your students or some shit like that. It's really, really hard to get fired, but it's really, really easy if you're new to get laid off. And and it's also built into the contract that in most states that government employees and teachers are not allowed to strike. So usually what ends up happening is the state just gives them a raise anyways, and then they raise your property taxes, and then you pay for your school taxes on your cell phone bill, things like that. So you're getting screwed in a couple different ways.
But why aren't the unions like? Are they not trying to make the schools better? I kind of find that hard to.
Okay, so in order for us to actually fix the school system, we would have to open things up like school choice. Like depending upon where you live in America and what kind of schooling is available, you have 3 options. You have public school, charter school, and private school. Right? Private school is completely funded by people who pay for their kids to go there. Charter schools are semi-publicly funded, but it's like having an entrance exam to get in. And then public schools are just, your average, shit tier education. And the thing is that all of the teachers are paying dues to the union regardless of whether or not, in charter and public schools, every teacher pays union dues regardless. So it's, you know, in order for the system to be fixed, we would have to do something about the unions to stop them from blocking school choice. Because what it comes down to is, if you can pay for a better education for your kids, you're going to. But if you have the option to send them to a better school that doesn't lay off new teachers and such, like say, like, you know, like a charter school, then you're going to do that. But if you're compelled to put your kid in public school because you can't afford any alternative, then you're kind of stuck with whatever the teachers union decides is appropriate, and, you know, whatever.
So the teachers union or schools need more competition.
Essentially, yes, competition is good for everybody.
Well, don't you think if you eliminated the Department of Education and you made the states actually do their job when it came to education, that the unions would have to break down into individual state unions, which means the politics of the union itself within each state would shift. And so you could have a lot of change go on just by eliminating the federal oversight of the school system.
So yeah, I think you're exactly right. If we eliminated the federal oversight for it, it would actually be a net gain for states individually, because obviously there's a lot of, like, I grew up in a rich state, you know, a blue state, and there's a lot of money available. You know, even in like a rural area where I grew up, there's still a lot of money. So, you know, if it came down to it, you know, just letting states decide what to do would probably be the better option.
Well, yeah, because if you look at the standardized testing that Memes was talking about, that is federally mandated. That doesn't come from the states. Common Core came from the freaking White House, pretty much. It came from the First Lady's fucking desk. So, I mean, yeah, you need to take it away from federal hands. And yeah, federal wolf shot. Yeah, you know how I feel about the federal system.
Federal.
This is Common Core in a nutshell. If you're in a car driving 35 miles an hour going west out of San Antonio, and a train leaves Portland, Oregon going south at 85 miles an hour, how many pancakes would it take you to reshingle your roof?
Nigger.
Yeah,
42.
I want you to show your work in marbles and gumdrops.
See, why is it that we still
work in interpretive dance?
No, we asked our students to show their work. Why isn't it every time there's like a vote in Congress, like we ask them to like explain themselves or like show their work?
I mean, sometimes it's okay. It's, you know, sometimes it's okay to let the states do what they want. Other times, you know, slavery.
Dude, if we had to make Congress and the Senate show their fucking work.
No. I'm not letting her just slide that one past. Slavery was in the Constitution. It was a federal mandate. Thank you very much.
I know, but then the states elected like who kept slavery, who didn't. It was a pain in the ass. That's why we had a war.
Yeah, it was a pain in the ass because it was a federal system. If it was a state system, it would have been a whole lot different from its inception.
You know what? This leads right into my story. Mad Dog, do you mind?
Hold on. I just want to get the joke out. I'm going to get joke blue balls if I don't say it. What I was going to say was, if we had every member of Congress show their work, we would never get anything done because there's not enough crayons in the world.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty good.
That's not the problem. The problem is most of it would be on Pornhub.
Yeah, it's Donald Trump.
That's
Sticks uploading to Pornhub now.
Is he? Sticks jumped over, huh?
Fucking Stormy Daniels, man.
Freedom of speech.
I'd break my dick off in that. Not really.
All right, what's the story, Outlaw?
All right.
Yeah, well, shot. You have the floor.
All right, so a couple days ago, or 2 days ago. Now, 2 days ago. Sorry, I'm having a good time. Anyways, I was wearing a rebel flag hat, just an orange hat with a patch with the Confederate flag patch or whatever. And I was at Wawa, and if you guys don't know what Wawa is, it's a convenience store, right?
Oh, dude, I love Wawa.
Wawa is the shit. But I've always noticed that there are either homeless people, black people, or pigeons by the trash cans. And today it was black people. So I got into a physical altercation. So they tried to take my hat. I had enough of that. I mean,
Well, Wolfshot, could I ask you a question? Like questions to try and get the story out? Like, my first question would be,
yeah, dog.
when you first got out and started headed to the store, is that when they initiated it? Or
When I came out.
like how did it okay, so I was wondering how it built up to them actually trying to grab it off your head.
Yeah, when I was walking in, they were, saying cracker and, honky and, cracker, and that's all they got. And I came back out and they like flipped my hat and I'm like, what the fuck? And one of the other guys was trying to deface my truck.
Oh shit.
Oh. Yeah. I have pictures.
Can you have open carry though, Wolf?
I have open carry. I have concealed carry. As soon as the dude, because I have a big rebel flag on the back of my truck, was gonna rip it apart, I lifted up my shirt and I have an F&N 427 or whatever as my sidearm. Basically, it's a bear gun essentially.
Ooh, fun.
And they hopped off. I called the cops. Report happened, and that's it. So I got punched in the face a couple of times. I got hit in the ribs. I fought back too. You should see my fucking knuckles. But and I broke my index finger.
So a bunch of dudes started attacking you?
2.
Wow, brave.
That's what the fuck.
It's whatever, man. Like,
and what stopped it?
Me lifting my shirt and showing my gun.
Dun dun dun.
Guns don't work though.
No, of course not.
And I wasn't even gonna. I didn't even want to brandish it. I just wanted them to know that I don't fuck around. And then today, I'm wearing my hoodie, and the entire hoodie is just one giant rebel flag. And I'm like, they ain't gonna stop me.
Good girl.
You should see my face. I look so bad.
Do you have those stupid gay little brandishing laws where you live?
Yes.
Ew.
So if you get caught brandishing, you get some kind of fuckery.
It's a pretty steep ticket from what I remember, and I think they pull your CHL temporarily.
Wait, so it's pretty much a better idea to draw the weapon in that type of situation than to just show it off.
Well, if you're gonna draw it, shoot. You might as well pull the trigger.
Yeah.
If you draw your weapon, you have to shoot it. Otherwise, it's brandishing. That's why I didn't pull it out of my pants.
Well, you were being assaulted by 2 men. I mean, you would have got away with it. That would have been a clean shoot.
Yeah, but I'm not like this bloodthirsty,
I'm not saying blow their heads off, Wolfshot. God damn.
But it's illegal to maim in this state. Remember, we had this discussion.
It's okay. Just mag dump one right in the fucking chest.
Does anyone else find it weird that it always ends up being the situation where if you end up drawing a firearm, you always end up getting told by many folks, if you fire, you make sure you end an individual so they can't sue you. That just inherently seems like
no, it's absolutely true. That's what it is here.
Does it seem like there's something wrong with that?
And not to me. You come in my house, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Yeah, they made the stupid fucking decision to commit a crime in the first place.
But we're incentivizing to end somebody rather, and I understand they always say, okay, if you pull, you fire at least 2 rounds central mass and everything, which I mean makes sense stopping them.
Well, gee, I wonder where that came from. It couldn't be the same people wandering around hurting these kids into this wonderful protest that sit up there and caused this, could it? It couldn't be the fact that most of them were lawyers and that lived on lawsuits over something like this, could it?
Wait, you're saying there's incentives for these people?
Oh, so cynical.
Yes.
That would be unethical.
I have to ask.
Unethical?
MC, why is your blood pressure up tonight? You seem really upset. What's going on? What happened?
He caught his nuts in the door.
I'm just
He started a stream earlier and he only got 30 seconds in and it cut him off. So he has to lend everything that grinds his gears right now.
Oh, okay, I'm good with that.
I did do a successful test stream for about 30 seconds just to see if I could finally figure out how to do it, and I did it.
Oh man, congrats!
Yay!
All it is basically this is a test. Let's see how this works. I want to make sure that it goes, and then I ended it and seeing how everything works.
So you're mad at the gun grabbers?
I'm furious with these people who are using children, all right, as Santa Anna's wooden leg. I'm sick and tired of it.
MC, I just want to say I really want you to start a new podcast, and I want you to like usurp Rush Limbaugh.
Shut up, Gordy. Shut up. No, everybody go watch when he starts streaming. Go sub to his channel, but just watch for a couple minutes. You want him to stay on the Redeye, guys. Come on now. Don't.
Not too much success. You can have the platinum microphone since it's cheaper than gold right now.
All right.
Oh, I don't know. I kind of want to. I think I want to be MC's co-host now.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
That's a ways away yet, guys. Like I said,
MC, you spoiled my announcement that I was going to start doing a weekly stream.
Oh, are you? Cool.
Are you?
No, am I fucked?
Oh, you can't.
Yeah, dude. I would have totally. That would have been awesome.
No.
So,
Okay.
what were we protesting earlier? By the way, I saw a whole bunch of people, and I yelled, "Get a job!"
They want to take your guns, but no.
Okay.
You said there was bystanders in the chat. Okay. Why didn't they assist the woman being beaten?
Well, A, they probably thought I was a dude. B, there's this thing called the bystander effect.
Well, you don't have the Samaritan Act.
We do. If you see somebody in trouble and don't help, you are liable. Apparently, I learned that in law school. Not law school, but law class. I didn't go to formal law school, but yeah, I didn't want to shoot anybody, you know.
But I thought the whole point of the Samaritan Act is that if you don't, I mean, people should have come to your defense. Even if they thought you were a dude or not, 2 against 1 is still, going to help the underdog.
It happened pretty quickly. I mean, I don't regret like not discharging my firearm. I really don't.
If you don't have formal training, most folks' initial reaction is, "Oh, someone's getting beat up 2-on-1. Let me help."
Actually, it's hey, let me take out my cell phone and put it on WorldStar.
Well, yeah.
You know that's true, dude. I watch that shit all day long.
I know.
Watch that shit.
It's a horrible thing when you see someone getting beaten the shit out of, and people's initial reaction, "Oh, let's talk. Look how horrible! OMG, this is the worst thing in the world." Lie.
I'm going to get so many views on live leaks.
Well, just because I am the host and I have to bring this up. Okay, so you were assaulted by 2 African American individuals over your hat because there was a Confederate flag on it. Now, what if 2 white individuals were beating up on a African American individual because they were wearing a fucking Malcolm X shirt or something like that?
Yeah.
Don't you think there'd be a real big difference? Don't you think there'd be a real big difference?
Rasta shit, like the
not Rasta. No, I'm saying like Black Panthers or Malcolm X. Farrakhan.
Well, most people don't know this Black Power symbolism. For one, for two, it's more socially acceptable. Obviously, look.
Well, we know what the white power symbol is. I mean, even President Obama used it.
I'm just saying. The cops probably didn't charge them with a hate crime, but if it was the other way around, the white individuals would be arrested and charged with a hate crime. That's just the way it is, and that's why hate crimes are garbage.
Yeah, hate crimes are a problem, and it's not that the crime itself is a problem. It's that you're trying to bifurcate what the crime is and somehow say it's worse under these circumstances. If somebody murders somebody, all right, the person's dead, and the person who killed them generally hated them, all right. So, what difference does it matter why they hated them? You know, what difference?
Well, no, because that can bring in context. They may hate them because they fucked, their wife, or they destroyed their business.
That has
there could be mitigating circumstances.
That's for the judge to take into account, not for the law to sit up there and try and differentiate. That's the whole purpose of having a judge, isn't it?
May I?
The court
just quoted Hillary Clinton.
The court will decide whether the mitigating circumstances are sufficient or whatever. Yeah, I mean, we still need to go to court. But there are reasons.
Well, no, does the motive really matter ultimately? If you murdered your children, does it matter if you murdered them because they spilt milk on the floor or because they fucking did something else? You know what I mean? Does the reason you killed your children really matter? I would say no. I would say the act is the crime and the act is the problem and not the mitigating circumstances.
Yeah, okay, yeah. But the reason for it would then be about...
What if your child was a schizophrenic who was coming after you with a knife?
Yeah.
Well, then I would hope you could take the knife from a child and not kill your kid, and then you immediately take them to get help mentally.
Just using it as an example, since you want to throw something out there. So
that's fair, but
hypotheticals can go anywhere.
Intent
I could wrestle a knife away from a kid.
But intent can. What I'm trying to point out is that intent can be important, all right. But it's up to the judge to make those determinations. That's the whole purpose of having judges.
Well, that works very well in Scotland.
And Mad Dodge, well, exactly, and this is the problem: is that you have to have context within, the purpose of it. And anyway. The Scottish thing it's just too fucking bizarre because it's just saying that it's caused gross offence to somebody. I mean, what the fuck is that supposed to mean? I mean, the charge itself, the theoretical crime is bollocks. Just fucking nonsense.
Well, the crime is non-existent. What they're saying is somebody could have been offended, therefore the intent to offend is there, so he's guilty. And wow, is that some reaching?
But then where'd you go from that? Well, now I'm offended by the judgment, so I can now then theoretically take the court to court for offending me by their judgment. I mean, it's fucking nonsense. It really is the vacuum of stupidity.
Well, and I keep saying it, but I want it to happen. Million Pug March, guys. Million Pug March.
Yeah, but Wolfshot. I mean. Did you give a description to the police and everything?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but they all look the same.
Well,
yeah, well.
Yeah. Well.
Let me guess. Okay, so about 6 feet tall, lanky, backwards, fucking what state are you in? Virginia. So probably a Atlanta Falcons hat. Pants down to their fucking halfway off their ass, and they had really nice shoes. Right?
Wait, it was the guy from American Idol?
Pants on the ground,
Pants on the ground.
I was just going,
looking like a fool with your pants on the ground, hat turned sideways.
I
love that man.
The most fucking stereotypical description ever. So I hope I succeed.
Oh, you missed out the pubic hair on the head.
The Homer Simpson.
Yes, let us not forget the Jordans, everyone.
My Jordans.
High tops.
My Jordans.
Jordans. Yeah.
Did you at least scuff up their shoes when they were fucking hitting you? I would just step on their fucking shoe.
No, I fucking waylaid on their face, man. Fuck. They might have gotten me, but fucking I took some bites out. Come on.
Yeah.
There's a few sore jaws today.
And they didn't get the hat. the trophy. I saw you wearing the hat in a picture yesterday, so
Yep.
good. You didn't let them have their trophy.
Nope.
Should have taken a few of their teeth as trophies.
You know, it happens. I'm surprised it wasn't. It wasn't like when I was in high school, I would get, beat up because I was gay. But out of high school, out of college, like, that hasn't happened. But wearing a rebel flag hat, I don't know.
You should get a rebel flag, like a cape. Get a cape.
Oh shit, I have one. I wrap a flag, I have a rebel flag, and I wrap it around my shoulders.
No, I mean a Game of Thrones cape, like.
Oh my god.
But no, I want to bring up what was it, a year ago when they had the big social media push for everybody to go steal Confederate flags off of people's property? Remember that shit? That's pretty much the same thing. They're like, I don't like that, so you can't have it either. We're going to take it and burn it and pee on it or whatever. You don't remember that? Right after Dylan Roof, they were like sneaking up on porches and yanking rebel flags up and all sorts of shit.
I thought those were Donald Trump signs.
Oh, they probably did that too.
Dude, I remember somebody put it in like a lanyard or something. Somebody goes to grab it, all of a sudden it pulls like 6 feet later and they just like wipe out. One dude electrified his sign.
Yeah, that was the electrified sign one was freaking hilarious. I will admit that.
That's brilliant. Isn't that classified as a man trap though? You can get done for that.
Yeah, well, actually, it's a criminal activity for what they're doing, so it's kind of hard for them to justify that, and it's a felony too. So, in certain states,
yeah,
it's a felony.
If like electric fence, on an electric fence, having a thing saying electric people not to touch the fence. If you electrify something, you're meant to have some kind of indicator that the thing's electrified.
Well, it depends on the juice you're pushing. I mean, there's plenty of places where we have a lot of electric fence wires in rural areas to keep in the animals, and none of it is identified.
Well, let's not forget that former presidential candidate and at that time frontrunner Herman Cain proposed a border fence 20 feet high, electrified, with a sign on both sides that says, "Warning, keep back, this will kill you."
Didn't he also steal the idea from the Coneheads about the shot callers?
I don't know about that. I just remember he wanted to put an electric fence on the end because I remember from Ren and Stimpy the wise words of "Don't whiz on the electric fence."
Yeah.
Cartoons can teach you.
But
some people are incorrigible, though. Trust me. Where's Voice? Voice had a story about that. Voice of one.
Yeah, where did Voice go?
Yeah, he explained that he had heard that story and then decided to test it out to see what would happen.
But he is an island, so you're not starting with the cream of the crop, are you?
You're on an island too. What are you talking about?
I was saying he's in Ireland. Ireland. I'm talking about
Ireland.
He's in Ireland.
Ireland. I thought you said he's on an island. I thought.
No.
Speak the Queen's English. At least so we can understand you. Either that or get better internet service so you don't go in and out.
The Queen's getting pretty old. Can she speak the Queen's English?
Try yourself sometime.
But that does lead to a question, though, because the royal courts.
Yeah, she's not got one.
The royal courts have authority in something like. Don't they have jurisdiction over what's going on with Dankula? Couldn't they step in?
Theoretically, yes, but then it would create a so-called constitutional crisis, even though we don't have a constitution. So, yeah, technically, yes.
Well, and for them to get involved, wouldn't he actually have to file an appeal? Okay, cabbage.
Is he not planning to file an appeal?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
He's appealing. He's appealing. That's one of the first things.
Oh, okay.
I certainly hope so. I would understand him wanting to get it over with. All right, I truly understand that.
Well,
that
yeah,
sentiment.
you know what I saw him put out in a tweet yesterday. The media and shit is harassing his girlfriend, and she has nothing to do with his YouTube channel or nothing. It's just his girlfriend. And like now she's stuck in all this shit. And like that has to be hard, especially if he does go to jail for a while. Then she's on the outside having to deal with this harassment all the time.
Yeah, it's not gonna it can't be easy to go through something like that. It's not easy to go through that.
No, the thing is, there is no harassment. I mean, he said himself, like in terms of his girlfriend and things, people aren't harassing him. One of the reasons that he couldn't get a job was because people all knew him and they were, laughing and joking with him about the pug and things. He walks down the street and people are doing Zeke Heils out of their cars, and having a joke with him. So nobody takes it seriously. It's not like, any of the family is under threat.
I wouldn't say nobody takes it seriously because some jackass did, and he's going to go to jail over it.
Well, no, and Cabbage, they put it out on Twitter. It's the media and stuff that won't leave his girlfriend alone at all. Like they keep calling her, they keep tracking her down. Yeah.
Yeah, the media is the problem, but it's not the local community. The local community couldn't give a shit. They think it's all fucking ridiculous too. Yeah, he's had full support. He said himself on a few of his streams and his videos that the rest of the people think it's fucking ridiculous.
But when you have that sword hanging over your head, I mean, constantly. I mean, it's going to wear on you. They're just
but the thing is, what makes it so ridiculous, MC, is that the maximum sentence, even if they were to sentence him, is 6 months. He's now been going through the court process for 2 years. So then he's not going to be incarcerated. The only thing now that they have to concern themselves with is, what level of community service they're going to give him and whether they tag him or remove his internet privileges or something. I mean, that's where it's going to go.
No, he shouldn't get community service and shit. He should get time served then if he's already been dragged through the mud for 2 years on a 6-month beef.
Yeah, but they've got to do something to inconvenience him, as if they haven't done it already. But no,
I think they're going to put him in jail for the max. They're going to maximize this. I really do believe that.
Yeah, but with the 2 years that he's been going through this effectively, under house arrest, I don't think they could. I think they'd have to do. I mean, they could. Yeah, I mean, they could technically. But the thing is, I mean.
Cabbage,
the first thing that's going to happen is it's going to go to appeal. It's going to go to appeal because the judge anyway is a complete fucking nutcase. He's known for being a nutcase. He does all these kind of crazy things, and it'll be appealed immediately, and then he'll be back out.
Yeah, but it's still hanging.
Start again.
It's still hanging over his head. And unless he's cleared, it's going to continue to be hanging over his head while he goes through the town, through the appeals and everything else. And we're assuming that the appeals are going to go his way.
No, and you can take it all the way to the High Court, to the Supreme Court. I mean, which is probably what it's going to end up doing. And the thing is that every time these things have been tried in England, they get to the Supreme Court, and then they get thrown out because they're fucking ridiculous. Like the tweet things. The police are arresting people left, right, and centre for tweets, and they all get thrown out. Because as soon as you appeal one, they know damn well they can't do anything about it. But they're not interested in getting convictions. They just want to try and harass people.
Well, isn't that... I mean, in your court system, when you get something like that tossed out by the High Court, that doesn't matter? They can still arrest you again and again?
Well, not the same individual, but they can just keep on harassing other people. It's the whole point, right? Okay. All police is about harassing other people on the same charge. So they just change the charge slightly, and then there's, the precedent can still be set. You only need a subtle difference to then set a new precedent.
That shit's insane, dude. I don't have words.
It's fucking nuts, which is why you guys have got to fucking protect that Constitution with everything you've got.
Well, here's another worry I have is I noticed him retweeting on his Twitter like some they're funny ass memes, but they're Hitler memes and shit. And that's exactly what he got in trouble for. It's like he's trying to push the fucking limit.
He's actually being charged with saying, well, for basically pointing out that Nazis are the most hideous things around. Right? That Nazis are really, really bad. That's what he's being charged with, because that's the point of the video, is I want to make, you know, everyone says my dog is cute. I fucking hate people going on about the cuteness of the dog, so I'm going to make it do the most uncute thing I can. So all of this offense that people are taking is the fact that he actually thinks that Nazis are the most hideous things on the planet. That's the stupidity of all of this case.
Hey, Cabbage. I'd like to interject. I've been listening. I got a little bit of issue with my kid. But you know what's funny? Well, there's nothing funny about this case, but what's interesting about it is that they're actually charging him under like a law that was created in the 1930s for
Communications Act.
Yeah.
And Communications Act. Yeah.
The kicker to that is hold on. I totally lost my train of thought. It's late in the day for me, but hold on. I'll just hang out for a sec. I thought
it was 2003, the Communication Act under, I think, Cameron or Blair.
No. Communication Act's been around for an awful long time. There's been a lot of amendments and changes to it along the way. In fact, the specific act that was introduced underneath the Communications Act, like the canopy of that, was under Blair. The one that he's being caught with.
No, it's Regulation 127, improper use of public electronic communications network. Section 1, a person is guilty of an offense if he, subsection A, sends by means of a public electronic communications network a message or other matter that is grossly offensive or of an indecent, obscene, or menacing character, and then it goes on.
Now, I would argue that point anyway from the very beginning. No, it wasn't. It wasn't 18 plus. It wasn't anything.
Because I was going to say, like, if it was restricted behind some sort of age gate or something, technically his lawyer might be able to argue that, well, technically it wasn't a public communication. One would have to at least have a YouTube account and be 18 plus to view it.
Well, no. The thing is, I'd say that they can't say it's public anyway, because is he not paying a private company for his internet access? So it's not a public communication channel. If it was a public communication channel, that would be like ham radio or something. Right?
I thought the internet was under BBC or communications regulation.
No.
I'm not
sure. No. You pay private companies like Virgin Internet, or we got hundreds of different internet companies that you can subscribe to. Talk, T-Mobile, things like that.
Did his lawyer argue?
I don't know, but that's the whole point. I would say it's not public. It was private, and it was in a private account, and other people decided to look at a private account. So there's nothing that was public about it. It was private people who decided to encroach on his space and take offense on someone else's behalf. There is nothing public about it if you actually break it down at its fundamentals.
Well, and Cabbage.
I just remembered. Oh, hold on. I just remembered what it was that I was going to say about that. When that video went viral, it got like 3+ million views or something like that. But what's the interesting part about it is that the complaint didn't come from anybody on YouTube. It came from somebody within the Scotland Yard Police Department.
Yeah, the thing is, it's even worse than that. I mean, the whole point was that he was trying to offend his girlfriend, right? So it was a joke for his girlfriend. So that was the point. It had nothing to do with anybody else whatsoever, and it was the Scotsman newspaper that somebody sent it to, and that's when it went viral. So it was only because of the Scotsman newspaper notifying people that this thing existed that it ever went viral in the first place.
Well, I want to ask, practically, if you're looking at things in their most practical manner, isn't your TV worse than this video he put out of a dog lifting its paw? I know American TV is far worse. I mean, what kind of Nazi stuff do you guys have on the History Channel?
Oh, God. Yeah, but I mean, comedy. Nazi comedy is normal over here. Yeah, I mean, God, Faulty Towers, John Cleese doing there you go. John Cleese doing the Hitler walk when he has those German guests in the hotel. The stuff. I mean, God, there is so much stuff, which is, I mean, measures of magnitude higher. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and all of this and all of that stuff is literally and provably on the public airwaves.
Oh yeah,
it does violate the rule supposedly, even though that's the dumbest rule ever.
Oh Christ! Look, I mean, okay, perfect example. Sacha Cohen, but you know, doing the Borat, throw the Jew down the well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he gets a bunch of Texans singing along with him. Fuck me.
Wait, so what you're saying is John Cleese should turn himself in?
That's right, he should. But then that's maybe why he went over to America. I know you have extradition treaties.
Well, wouldn't that be the ultimate meme? If he goes to the Met, he's like, ladies and gentlemen, I must admit my name is John Cleese. It's part of Monty Python, and I have grossly offended people, so I am turning myself into Scotland Yard as of right now. And the sad thing is, I'm not sure or not, but they might actually come up to arrest him.
I'm not sure about how the law for extradition works, but I definitely could be wrong about this, right? But I think that don't they have to have some kind of commonality before it can be applied?
Okay, so for example, it's okay to murder your wife in the Philippines. So if you murder your wife here and just fly off to the Philippines, they don't have to extradite you.
Do you have any good we'll talk off air.
Do you have any cheap plane tickets?
I'm kidding.
Maybe?
I'm kidding.
Or like with Roman Polanski, when he had sex with that underage girl, he went to Sweden or Switzerland or some shit, right? Where did he go?
But Woody Allen
in France.
Whereas Woody Allen could just stay in New York.
Yeah, true.
Because he's Woody Allen.
But Switzerland or Sweden or wherever the fuck he was won't extradite. They won't extradite anybody for shit. They don't care.
I think Roman Polanski is in France.
He's in France. He is. No, you're right. He's in France.
Okay, so let's take a little dark spin on that Dankula stuff. My running theory is that, in Cabbage, I'm just, speaking as an American from the outside looking in, but from what I can tell, the UK is slowly becoming the government from V for Vendetta. And,
not slowly. And don't forget, it was one of our authors that created 1984, and Brave New World. We had Huxley. I mean, Christ, it was like the manuals. We created our own the manuals for our own destruction.
Yeah, Alan Moore made V for Vendetta. Alan Moore is British.
So basically, from what I've gleaned from the news, Europe as a whole is accepting a shit ton of immigrants or refugees, whatever you want to call them, from Syria, from the Middle East, from a lot of war-torn places. And from just from the news that I've looked at, it appears that these people are actually literally turning parts of these countries, that they're inhabiting into, basically little Syria, little Iran, things like that. And I think the purpose.
Well, look at Sweden.
Huh?
He said, "Look at Sweden."
Yeah, look at Sweden. Sweden's a great example. They have a very good feminist government, and they also are right behind South Africa for race. But no, I think where this is going, I think the ultimate reason that they're trying to, charge Dankula is for the explicit purpose of creating a precedent in your legal system to be able to charge, wrong things.
Yeah.
Well, why they can't give it up? They can't let it go. They made absolute arse of the law, and they can't back down now. They've committed.
Yeah, you kind of broke up there, but also. You got another guy. I just watched the interview between Tommy Robinson and either Brittany Pettibone or Lauren Southern went to interview him or something. But basically, you got people in the UK that are speaking out against this situation with massive immigration and population replacement. And I think this is their inroad to full-on censorship because, of course, your Constitution doesn't necessarily protect freedom of speech.
We don't have one. That's the problem. We don't have one.
Yeah. You guys fucking need a
That's the big
constitution so
problem.
bad. This fucking common law shit ain't fucking working out for you guys.
No, common law is fine if you have the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. We had the Bill of Rights, but then we didn't go for a constitution. We went for primacy of Parliament. You know, so it was a bad mistake. We should have gone for the Constitution.
Yeah.
But that's the whole point, right? Because, you know, you learn from our mistakes. That's what evolution's all about, right? It's an evolved, you know, governmental system. Which is why, whatever you do, don't let these fuckers take away your constitution. Don't let them even, you know, chip away at the amendments.
Honestly,
you know,
Cabbage,
fucking reinterpretation.
I'm very surprised that more and more people from the UK aren't flipping their shit about this. But, you know, I'm not going to lump you in, but it seems to me like England and most of Europe as a whole has a really, really entrenched liberal ideology problem where, you know, if you disagree with like, gay marriage or anything like that, like you're just
you see,
evil.
This is the problem, and this is why Britain went for the Brexit when they got the chance, you know, because we're not like Europe, right? And we don't, unfortunately, our politicians are very European because the European system is very institutional, right? The institutional power base. Whereas, you know, what British people are all about is leave me the fuck alone and let me get on with my life, which is, you know, what America took from us. But the Europeans are trying to subvert what we are. And that's why they hated Brexit. That's why they didn't, you know, just like Hillary Clinton, they didn't think Brexit would ever happen. They were so arrogant, they thought that they turned everybody into socialists. And then they found out that they weren't right, you know? We're not fundamentally at heart like that because, you know, we know what Europe's like and we've had to deal with it for hundreds of years.
Yeah, I think
we are actually, our government is actually, I mean, we know our government is actively working against us, you know, as the populace. We know that the government is the enemy. We aren't, each other aren't the enemy. The government is the enemy under the guise of the social justice lunatics and, you know, all the other anarcho groups that proclaim that they're into freedom and everything else. And we know they're not. You know, nobody's going to be hoodwinked by this nonsense.
Well, apparently enough people are. I think the main issue is that Germany, after World War II, you know, when the Berlin Wall fell, they were so dead set against ever even potentially having a situation where they could have an extreme sense of nationalism like they did post, you know.
I'm talking about the indigenous population, right? Before the Brexit vote, they opened the gates to mass immigration from all over the place. Now, you know, if somebody is an immigrant, they are not going to vote to close down immigration policies, right?
But you did. In 1997,
no, this is the point.
In 1997, you guys frickin' refused to allow the frickin' mass migration of anybody from Hong Kong.
Well, no, we didn't actually. We did offer passports, but they had to be applied for in a very particular way, and it was all very, it wasn't the best method of, it wasn't the best approach. But no, I mean, there's loads of people who came over from Hong Kong. But having said that, a lot of that problem was the Chinese saying that they demanded that certain people stay in order to maintain the working economy or whatever. So it's part of that, you know, the pattern negotiations.
Never should have negotiated that.
Well, no, we couldn't do anything else. It's the whole point. The lease had expired. It was a 99-year lease. The lease was up, and otherwise we'd have been squatters.
Well, you would have been squatters, but you could have left with all the British citizens.
Well, I suppose theoretically. Yeah, well, okay. I'll take that on advisement, but yeah, I don't think that's feasible.
Well, I mean,
there was a phrase that I heard.
Oh, go ahead.
There was a phrase that I heard somewhere that I thought was really funny. It was a twist on the sun never set on the British Empire. It just went supernova.
Well, no, I also there's another one. We said the sun never set on the British Empire because you can't trust them in the dark.
That's good.
But
that's a good one.
all jokes aside, my point would remain to be, you can't really defeat your government, Cabbage. You don't have any weapons. I mean, we already have a disadvantage in America, but at least we have guns and a lot of land to hide on. I mean, I don't know what you guys.
But no. You forget that. I mean, people forget that the actual, the power base is actually exceptionally small. It's like any pyramid scheme. It doesn't actually take many things. You just need to hit the right places. And we're pretty strategic people. So I think if we did rise up and actually, pick the correct targets rather than just going out and rioting in the streets, I'm pretty sure, and it has happened in the past. Don't forget, the New Model Army, the Tolpuddle Martyrs. We took the head off a king before now.
Yeah, and then they got their heads taken off.
Yeah, they did shortly after. Yeah, that's true. But hell, at least they got the Magna Carta out of it.
I mean, Guy Fawkes thought he could cause a revolution. That didn't end well for him either.
Yeah, well, fuck Guy Fawkes, because he was, he was a radical fucking Catholic, and he wanted us to all go back to Catholic rule.
Leave my people alone. Britain was much better when it was a Catholic country.
Did you just say you got Aaron Carter out of it?
The Magna Carta.
Aaron Carter.
Yeah, not Aaron Carter. Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say I don't think that's how boy bands start, but what do I know?
No, exactly. I would have figured that you'd had the ability to realize you heard Carter and you're thinking about Britain and something to do with politics. I thought Magna would have come in kind of, fairly quickly.
Garbage. It's just jokes, man.
No, it's not. It's a deconstruction of your mental state.
I think you just called me a retard, but it sounded so nice that I'm not even really bothered.
Yeah, that's why you can't trust the Brits. Or that right there. He'll insult you, and you're like, "Oh, that's nice of you."
Yeah, half an hour later, you realize the joke wasn't a joke.
Yeah, well, that's only when
worried because if you tell a joke in England, you freaking get arrested. I will say this, and I said this before, and I'm serious about this. At this point in time, I will never freaking ever go to England. I won't go because
I wouldn't recommend it. I've got a friend of mine who keeps saying to come over, and I honestly I really can't give any reason as to why anymore.
Hey, Cabbage.
There's a lot of things I would like to see, but if they watch one of these streams, am I subject to arrest?
Yeah. Hey, I'm a comedic recidivist.
Are you listening to headphones or do you have speakers on?
No, I've got headphones. No, somebody else has got the echo.
Oh, okay. No, I was just going to ask if I yelled Hitler did nothing wrong really loud, would you get arrested?
No, that's fine. Hell, I'll put the speakers outside. Actually, I might get arrested because it is 2:30 in the morning.
No. It was some guy in America with sunglasses.
It's one of those goddamn Americans.
Well, I wish George Carlin was still alive because he would have the balls to go do a show in fucking England and he would pull some Nazi jokes. He would.
Yeah,
Carlin
he would,
to
be edgy. Yeah, but the thing is, he was also a fucking socialist. He was one of the worst kind of socialists. He was a real liberal. It was the worst sort.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, he had great comedy, and there's nothing wrong with that. Decent comedy. But the guy was a fucking socialist. Make no bones about it.
Well, what do you... I don't know, Couch. Do you think that it doesn't, at least from Twitter, right? From like Dinkula's interactions with other people, other comedians, it doesn't fucking look like too many people are supporting him. I think fucking Tommy Robinson is just he's gonna kill his support from mainstream media.
Oh, he will. He shouldn't. Yeah, he really shouldn't have tied in with that because it does give it the alt-right sort of like label. But then again, I mean, why not? I mean, the fact is, if the comedian's got an ounce of integrity, then it wouldn't matter, because it doesn't matter who else is endorsing. If it's a matter of principle, different people can still maintain the same principles,
well, I mean,
on certain issues. And the comedians, I mean, they are shitting on their own shoes if they don't support it. They really are. They're going to fuck up their own industry.
See, the thing is that, you know, people already associate him with being a shitbag at this point. So it really doesn't matter. Like, there's, you know, you really can't, you can't shit on somebody's image that's already covered in shit. You know, so having Tommy Robinson say, hey, listen, you know, like, I'm getting dicked over too, you know, and Tommy Robinson's story is insane because apparently when he got sent to jail, he basically, one of the prison guards told him, hey, I need you to stay in your cell and refuse to leave. And then later on, it was explained that, you know, if he didn't get arrested by that prison guard, they were going to put him in the area of the prison where all the Muslims are housed.
Yeah, but it didn't make any difference because he did that. They then did something else, and they ended up, and they basically just took him into a room full of these guys anyway, and he got the shit kicked out of him. You know, so it, you know, the fact that they didn't get it naturally, they created an artificial environment to make it happen anyway.
Christ, it's remarkable. That is some Stasi level shit, man.
Oh yeah, it is absolutely fucking right, mate.
It's political assassination, is what it is.
Exactly. But with plausible deniability.
Yeah.
So, sick.
Yes, he
I mean,
just.
this is like I said. You know, your government is working against the people who are trying to, you know, defend, you know, anything. It doesn't matter what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, you shouldn't do. Oh, you wouldn't do that to, you know, Manson. It's fucking weird. The world's gone nuts. It really has, especially this country. It's going down the absolute shitter. It really is, and it shames me to say so. I've always been, you know, proud Englishman, but I really don't see it as England anymore. I don't see it as Britain. Our government has nothing to do in any relationship with the people whatsoever. They've demonstrated it repeatedly, just consistently.
Yeah. Well, the part that fucking kills me,
You're
man.
not alone, though. Just remember that. You're not alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. This is a problem, you know. It just seems like, but where's the solutions? This is a problem. It's like we can all bitch and whine, but where, you know, there has to be a solution to this thing. I mean, I know we can't fight the government because they got, you know, F-35s and F-22s and shit, you know, and Hellfires and stuff.
No, you don't need to do that. You need to get about 150 people who all feel the same way and all feel strongly enough to go into that fucking parliament building and just start slitting everybody's throat.
All right, I was about to say, just bring a few Irishmen and they'll get the job done.
Absolutely. Well,
yeah, just 150 Englishmen or 10 Irish guys.
I say, if you told the guys in Newcastle that if they wiped out the politicians in London that there was a week of free beer, they'd do it. It'd start on Monday, it'd be done by midnight, and they'd be partying from then on.
Hey, Cabbage, will you give me my castle? I'll go join them.
I'll give you the. I will happily sign it over to you, but I don't have ownership of it, unfortunately.
It's okay.
We're over the government, right?
It's democratic socialism, dude. Just fucking say you own it and be done with it.
That's right. Yeah, then just pass it to him. But then again, property is theft, so that wouldn't work either, would it?
No. Property is not theft. Property is
ownership.
Taxation is theft.
Ownership is theft.
Yeah. Well, one of the fucking, like, not to be like a huge like Debbie Downer or anything, but just like this entire stream, I've been fucking sitting here like sad as shit. Just think it's like, is there fucking nowhere safe where like this fucking pestilence hasn't spread? Like, there's fucking literally nowhere. Like, we're gonna have to go invade Chile and fucking what?
Seriously, 40. I was sitting the other day and I was thinking exactly the same thing. It's like, where can you actually go to feel like you can have a bit of freedom?
Montana.
You know, not some wild, not some wild anarchic fucking wasteland.
You have to take out
somewhere that's civilized,
where it's spreading from. If you're going to do that, you got to take out
which is the universities. Yeah, so therefore you got to take out the universities.
Okay.
Because that's where this shit's spreading from.
Thomas Aquinas, that piece of shit, he started this.
Yeah, he did. Yes.
God, that motherfucker.
One more thing to blame on the Roman. One more thing to blame on the Catholics.
See? Fucking Jesuits.
Hey, there is some good Catholics. There is some good Catholics.
Yeah,
Judge Andrew.
yeah, God,
Andrew
yeah, there are.
Napolitano,
They're
he's a
dead.
Roman
They're the dead
Catholic.
ones. Dead ones.
Is crusade against the Catholics, anyone? Or no, that'd be a jihad, wouldn't it? Never mind.
Well, surely no, it'd be a fatwa, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I am now sadly removing my St. Christopher necklace, you assholes. No.
Oh, I totally forgot about this, but actually today I decided to stop using Facebook, and the reason being is that I'm on like account number 4 or something like that right now, and yeah, I don't know why.
No idea.
Not a clue. But anyways, I posted an image of some dude in riot gear about to curb stomp somebody's head. And the caption on it read, "This is the reason for the Second Amendment, not so you can go hunting." And one of my friends commented on it. And this is after my 4th account, after my 3rd one, I kind of limited it to people I actually know, in public. And people that I know aren't going to... Oh, hold on.
Stop face stomping your children.
No, it's anyways. Before he gets pissy, I got banned from Facebook for 7 days because I said David Hogg looks like a duplicitous piece of shit. And
dude, I got banned from Facebook for calling Tom Brady a faggot.
It's better than the tree of logic. Calling David Duke a racist grandpa and getting banned from Twitter.
What? That's just reality.
Hey, look, Wolfie. Thank God that, you only got banned from Facebook. You didn't end up getting arrested and going through a 2-year court case.
No,
hey.
But if you're right. I didn't go through that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, still so. Yeah, they'll get to that. It's just probably queued up. It's just stuck in the chute.
Yeah, it's stuck. Exactly.
That's the thing about it, though. Unfortunately, Facebook has become the primary method of communication for people. So,
Of course it has. Don't you remember Zuckerberg when he was talking with Angela Merkel, the fucking Nazi queen?
Oh, my God.
Saying that, we've got to make sure that we can control the media coverage. You're fucking hideous.
Yeah,
Fucking
Angela,
German,
the unfuckable
man.
Merkel.
Fucking German.
Unfuckable Merkel.
She is.
Well, undoubtedly.
And the thing is, you talk about, Count Dankula being a troll. She looks like she should be living under a fucking bridge.
Ah, dude, she's a frumpy butter dumpster if I ever saw one.
That's not even a full bagger. Christ, there isn't enough beer on the planet to make me want to fuck that.
Well, anyways, where I was going with that is, there's only 3 ways to talk to people these days. You got your cell phone, Facebook, and then various other social media where you can interact with people like Instagram or whatever. But if having a negative opinion of something is going to get you banned from the primary mode of interaction with the world, digitally speaking, then it's gotten to the point where maybe Facebook should get split up or something like that, or
No, but that's the point. It's already happening. I mean, Facebook's seen a 25% reduction in activity. That people just aren't engaging in it. They've found other platforms and they're doing other things. I mean, it's happening naturally. Plus, people know what Facebook's up to with their social engineering exercises and all the other crap that they play.
Yeah.
The advertising.
Yeah, even fucking what was he? Fucking based Elon Musk deleted all his fucking Facebook pages for SpaceX and everything.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, shit.
But no, I've just now started going back on Facebook a little bit. I'm thinking about just getting all my old pictures and deleting the whole account. But it wasn't ever Facebook that ever banned me. It was me saying my opinion on, I don't know, abortion or the Confederate flag or guns, and having all the people I consider my friends and family yelling at me and bitching at me 24 hours a day. Every time I check Facebook, there's another message with them freaking out on me about abortion, for God fucking sake. Like, I want to talk about abortion every minute of every day. It was ridiculous. So I left and created my YouTube channel. And I've been happier.
Well, that's because we're your real family, Mad Dodge. You don't need those fucking, what are they, genetically related to you?
Yeah, how dare they?
Or are they genetically modified?
Yeah, I found my internet cult, guys. Just don't drink the grape Kool-Aid, all right? Drink
Illuminati
beer.
confirmed.
Eyes wide shut time. We're going offline.
Yeah, we should see us behind the scenes. Oh.
No, I still have 2 stories left. I want to talk about what I talked about last night in my video and hear your guys' ideas on it. 40 ounce, I know you watched the video, so do you want to give them a little bit of context, since I actually made the video last night? I don't really want to repeat it all, verbatim.
On the dolly where the nasty man touched you.
Talking about the Eugene, the Lane County Sheriff first is the first thing I want to talk about.
Oh, how mad would you be? How mad would you be if I said I didn't watch that yet?
All right.
You got scorched.
All right. Well, the first story is really easy here. Okay, so
that's some serious.
A Lane County jail, Lane County sheriff's deputy. He worked at the jail, so he was a corrections officer at the jail. He had worked last on shift. By Friday afternoon, he's being booked in the Lane County jail for rape, for delivery of marijuana to a minor, and also alcohol as well.
A minor what?
Fucking what, mate?
A minor what?
He brought this chick weed and booze, and then he raped her.
What the?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
check this out.
Did she offer sex because he was going to provide her with these things?
Fucking bullshit.
We don't know. We don't know.
Is this a retrospective rape claim?
What?
I don't think it is a retrospective rape claim. Actually, the Springfield...
Well, I'm covering the bases.
The Springfield Police Department was investigating him, and they found the connection, and they went to the Lane County Sheriffs and said, hey, I think one of your guys are dirty, and they did that back on Wednesday. It only took a little over 24 hours for them to make the arrest. He's shady, man. And he could probably buy weed at the dispensary and take it to this chick. Or he could also be smuggling weed into the jail.
Why would he need to do that? I mean, Christ, I mean, just take some from a bus.
Do you not know that American jails have more drugs in them than the streets do, really?
Oh, yeah, so do ours. Yeah, I mean,
there's a way that the drugs get in there, and it's usually these assholes.
Mate, people come out of British prisons with an addiction they didn't have when they went in. I mean, that's the way it works.
Okay, Mad Dodge, I'm just kind of curious, what you're actually mad about, because if you can't, why become a police officer if you can't get away with DUIs and banging underage chicks? What's
the point of the badge?
What are we here for if you can't do that?
God damn it.
Hilarious.
Really, it's special treatment, isn't it?
It's fucking hilarious.
Well, certainly there are some people that do it for special treatment, but I mean, a majority of police officers are good people. I mean, I had an Uber driver, I think it was 2 or 3 months ago, but he was he was a sheriff or something like that, and he was old. He's kind of older, and he was retired and everything, and he got hurt on the job or something. And I mean, it's he's just a fucking good ass guy, just trying to do his job because he cares about his city and everything. I mean, a majority of people are like that, when they're in the police department or sheriffs or whatever it might be.
Well, the thing is, it is becoming smaller and smaller because they seem to keep reducing the IQ of the people that they're willing to accept, right?
Well,
I mean, the quality of police is really going downhill.
Oh yeah, it's hard to argue that. Yeah.
Well, as I argued in my video, which I didn't really argue, I just commented on it. This is my idea. I bet you he is one of those COs, who is an asshole completely to most of the prisoners, a complete fucking prick. And my buddy was in Lane County Jail, and he knows him. He was a complete prick. But I bet you there's a small amount of the prison population that he is friends with, and I bet you he's just selling weed through them. I guarantee it, man. Like, okay, if he's going to use his position of power to rape an underage chick and bring weed and alcohol to her, why the hell wouldn't he use his power to make money? That's a lot less immoral.
Yeah, I think.
Well, it depends. I mean, how many people has he put in incarceration? I mean, I'd have thought he'd have been more concerned about his life because.
He was corrections officer. He was a corrections for about 3 years. He was working inside the jail. He was a guard. He was not out on patrol.
Okay. Yeah, but guards do some seriously nasty shit sometimes. I mean, come on, we've all seen the YouTubes.
Oh no, and that's what I want to ask next is Wolfshot. What happens to a cop in prison, in jail or prison, where he's probably going to go for rape?
A lot of bad shit.
Yeah,
a lot of bad shit.
And he's not going to get any help from the wardens either.
Well, that's why they usually put cops in white collar
isolation
or isolation, either white collar prison or isolation, not pound me in the ass prison, as I finally called it.
Yeah. But I've never heard of a dynamic like this to where he was guarding these prisoners in county jail less than 12 hours before he was booked. All right. So he literally went from a guard to fresh fish like in 12 hours. So
he's walking down, with his blanket and his change of clothes going towards his
Well, I mean, maybe I don't know. I mean, this guy obviously, he's probably getting favors on the outside, or I mean, he wouldn't be doing this if there wasn't any kind of benefit. So I mean, who's to say that he's just not going to stay friends?
He's lost all of his friends because nobody wants to be associated with him now. So the actual guy, who you would have thought would be fairly, I mean, you'd think he'd be isolated.
Well,
I mean, if you knew that a friend of yours, was now banged up, and you thought you could get guilt by association, these people aren't going to be hanging around him.
Oh, for sure.
He's the loose, he's the the fawn that got picked off by the lion.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to go in his defense, are you?
No, probably not. I was just going to say that, one of the benefits of, being a dirty prison guard is that on the upside, you already know everybody there. Yeah. So, it could go really well. There's a lot of, you don't need to make any friends.
Well, like I said, I mean, if he's been a facilitator for other people and things, and he's been kind of cool with but if he's been a dick, no, his life's a fucking threat. He gets shivved in a minute.
Dude, he's definitely going to be somebody's cock ring by the end of tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, probably. But I mean, at the same time, who's to say that he's not friendly enough with some of the other guards too? And then they'll undoubtedly be investigated as well. But who's to say he's not friendly with enough people in jail to
Yeah, that's true. But he hasn't got any money, right? He's got no real cash as such. I mean, okay, like you said,
don't need cash in prison. You just need cigarettes and a butthole.
Yeah, no, I'm saying about the fact that and the prisoners. I'm saying about the guards, right? The guards. He means shit to them at that point, right?
True.
He's got no value to them.
Wow, Sinatra got fucking banned again from YouTube.
You're kidding?
Damn.
Yeah, I talked about that earlier. I was actually watching his stream at work today while, and then I don't know, maybe 20, 30 minutes into it, he got a notice that he was streaming copyrighted material, and then the stream cut off. And then 10 minutes after that, he put up a video saying, "Hey, I got banned again," which sucks because I like Sinatra, and he's, I appreciate his perspective.
No, I do too, but it's. Well, then again, a lot of the gun shows I watch, they're going to Pornhub. No joke. No joke.
Pornhub.
Fucking yes, dude. Everyone just go to Pornhub. Fuck it.
Why aren't they going to VidMe or Gab or something?
VidMe is gone, dude.
Oh yeah, VidMe went, didn't it? Yeah, it died.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, I had an account on there too.
Dude,
Still
fucking
Gab.
Gab is full of homosexuals, and I hate gays.
Well, you got okay, mines then.
yeah.
Sargon.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, but there are loads of platforms, and this is the problem. People are just so fucking down on the idea of making anything else work. It's just too easy because you got YouTube, so it's all
Okay.
with that.
About the liberalist thing, right?
Yeah, just suicide. Support something, for fuck's sake.
Sargon wants to make his own political party, right? With the liberalists, right?
No. Andy Worski owns that. It's about trap porn and white and.
Well, I know Andy Worski owns all that shit. But what Sargon wanted to do is he wanted to create his own political party via YouTube or something.
Kind of.
No, the liberalist thing is more of just a meme, concept. I mean, it is a kind. I mean, see, I still can't get behind it because the whole point is it's not meant. Everything's meant to be against identity politics. So hey, let's defeat identity politics by creating a new identity. We'll now call ourselves liberalists. I mean, the whole thing is a clusterfuck of contradictions.
So,
well, but I mean,
I'm creating my own political party. It's called the Lesbianists, and I am the Emperor, God King,
lesbian?
President of the Lesbianists, and we demand our Lesno state.
Well, there is one. It's called Lesbos.
Yeah, but they're not.
No, I really have a place.
Hold on, I want to go where.
You've already got your fucking Jerusalem.
No, I want to go to where Wonder Woman and all her Amazonians are. Now that's Lesbos.
That's Lesbos. That's what I mean. There you go. Go to Greece. It's there. It's waiting for you.
Oh, Gal Gadot. Oh, man. Getting a rubbery one. But anyways, I demand a Lesno state, and bis and straights are welcome.
Oh, yes.
You just have to hate everyone equally.
Oh, I'm good with that. Can I film everyone equally? Is that an option?
Can I punch everyone equally?
If the Lesno state isn't about tranny dicks and white chicks, then I'm not into it.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, but if there's no bestiality, then I just couldn't possibly subscribe.
Thank you, Caligula.
No, you guys are gonna have to go to Whammon Island for that.
I'm willing to
get myself a good Labrador.
I'm willing to go, but I'm gonna take a little chunk of the territory and claim it for the Confederacy. I'm just saying, we're gonna secede.
You're banned from the Lesno state. Yeah, Mad Dog, you're banned from the Lesno state because we need more lesbians, not.
I'm a lesbian in a man's body, so that's good, right? I identify as a lesbian.
Oh, no libertarians. No libertarians.
God damn it. All right, fine. Well,
yeah, we'll just create the Confederacy 40.
Yeah,
wait,
I guess
40,
I just want to tweak nipples. And not those big flat things, not the big dishes. I want the pert ones.
Who was I exchanging ass pictures with?
Fucking what? Well, not me. You said my name. I am not involved in this.
No, I didn't know you were a libertarian.
Oh, yeah, I am.
I didn't know. It's like a horrible.
Well, and I have what the
He's
one
not allowed
last
to say
story,
anything because of his career. It's a career issue.
But the other story is also about Eugene. So they've had 11 armed robberies in half a month, or about a month. It's been a major.
You mean in a
crime
fortnight?
wave. Yeah, it's been a major crime wave going on, and it's mainly centered around the U of O. That's where most of the armed robberies are happening.
And is there migrants? Are there migrants?
No.
Damn it.
No, they're probably tweakers, to be honest. But
say if the migrants are out of state going to college.
Yeah, wait, you see, now you got to blame homegrown problems. Shit.
So,
easy when it's migrants.
So as I was saying last night in my video, there's two different clusters of these robberies. One cluster was around what I would call a better target, which is the small lottery cafes. So they would literally be robbing the lottery money, which is $2-3 grand just sitting there for a payout.
Can you explain that, Matt? What is a lottery cap where we don't have those? I've never heard of one.
You can go in and they have cheap cigarettes. You could buy a couple beers, but no hard A, and you could sit down and play slot machines. Pretty much what it is. And you can buy sandwiches. You know, yeah.
Sandwich. Give me my sandwich.
Yeah. Exactly. You could eat a sandwich, drink a beer, and play some fucking video poker. That's pretty much what it is.
Imagine,
but that means they have to have for every machine they have in there. If it hits the jackpot, they have to have enough money to cover it. That's why that's a proper target. The other cluster of robberies was, Subway, Dutch Brothers coffee fucking stand. Last night they robbed Little Caesars. Little fucking Caesars. How much money's in the till at Little fucking Caesars? And like I said on my video, I'm like, okay, I get it. You're broke. You're thirsty and hungry. You're gonna rob some pizza and get a little bit of money for some weed. All right. No, motherfuckers didn't even take any pizza. It's sitting there cooked. I mean, shit. Little Caesars. What the fuck are you doing?
Rat poop in it.
Like seriously.
That's right. I mean, just why not say, give me the shoot?
Like seriously though, like. The fuck's wrong with you?
No, but seriously,
you're the most like innovative burglar I've ever met. Like, why not take the pizza and the money?
Exactly. Oh, that's beautiful. I mean, you see, that's holistic. That's holistic robbing.
Oh fuck, dude. You know what's sad is that Eugene used to be like a nice town. Last time I went there.
Yeah, but when was that? What? How old are you?
Well, that was like 2 years ago.
Really? It went downhill that fast. Holy shit.
Fuck, everyone sounds like it fucking did if they're robbing fucking Little Caesars for fuck's sake. Jesus Christ, man. Yeah, there's a whole like $15 in the goddamn fucking cash register.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, who is robbing him? I mean, who is it? Did they get pictures?
Okay, here's the thing. They caught two people. And they were working together robbing the lottery stores. So they caught the lottery guys first. You know, that's the bigger target. Of course, you're going to get caught first. They should have stopped. They robbed like 4 or 5 of them. And they got caught.
No, hang on. You're saying these lottery stores. Yeah, but you're saying that these are like slot machines. So what, they're walking out with bags of quarters?
No, there's no. See the machine.
I don't get it.
No,
they're
check it out.
walking out with Native Americans. That's what they're doing.
No, Cabbage. The machine has no money in it. The money is in a special lottery. It's in a lottery till. What you get is a little piece of paper with how much money.
Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, it's like being in when you get the tokens for winning when you throw a ball into a thing.
It's like Can we talk about Casino instead? I love that movie.
What? Like.
No, we're talking about an actual thing that happened.
Killing, and things that are going on, like crimes.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you've been a victim of one recently. I don't know. Is the head trauma? You've forgotten. You're a victim of crime recently. So this is all relevant.
I was.
You were. See? So join in.
I didn't think it was a big deal, though.
Well, I take offense on your behalf. So.
Well, I mean,
I think you're demeaning the trauma that you should experience. See, I'm allowed to do that.
It's
the new law.
This is the state of the country and what it's in, I guess.
Yes.
I don't know.
And I'm in England, so I'm not even there, you see. So imagine how much more amplified it would be in your own state. Great.
My God, Cabbage, I'm sending you a rebel flag.
Please, I'd love it.
Hilarious.
I love Alabama's got the Union Jack in its in one of its flags. Well, one of its which one is it? It's the probation. The probation who does the probation? You know, the institution that does the probation. Their flag. You know, their guild. You know, their coat of arms has the Union Jack in it. It's one of only 2 places in America that has the Union Jack. Is that and Hawaii?
Yeah.
Wow.
But I mean, okay, so
I know.
yeah.
Sorry, totally pointless, useless, worthless information. I don't know. I just no. Yeah, I'm glad you let me go down the rabbit hole. Thank you.
You have a stroke, Cabbage?
To make the long story short,
I had to see. I had to see the thought process through. I had to remember. It's nice to have a support group.
Yeah.
Do you smell toast?
I'm smelling almonds at the moment, and my left arm is getting a little bit limp.
Oh shit.
But yeah, 2 guys were caught, and then the guy from last night, they described him as 40, a white guy in his 40s with a shaggy beard. That's all they know. So
Are you sure you're not describing?
But he's the one wrong. Yeah, I think it was 40. No.
Morty, have you got something you want to confess?
Yes.
Come on, you're amongst friends.
I'm not actually 40. I'm only 23, guys. But I do have a shaggy beard, I'll admit.
I'm just glad you said you're over 18.
Oh, God. Yeah, when I go to your prisons for hate speech, I'll be fresh bait. Jesus.
But do you think it could only be 3 people doing 11 robberies in like 14, 15 days, pretty much?
I don't know. It's like the Austin bomber guy. I mean, he fucking.
But isn't it gangs? Aren't
Like,
these gangs?
I don't know, but he blew his ass up. I think that's funny.
Yeah.
It's always funny when you hear a criminal, you know, actually fuck themselves up.
It's like that that guy that where was it? Was it New York? Where he had a bomb in his pants and it blew off his dick.
Yeah. The fucking retarded jihadi, yeah. Jesus sake.
Justice.
And the guy who gave himself a hot foot. Remember that one?
Yeah.
God, these people are retarded. And we're meant to be, you know, like cowering in a bunker because of these people. They can't even ignite their own underpants. Right.
Oh, God.
Seriously. The only thing you can do is drive badly into a crowd.
God damn it.
But yeah, that was all I had. I did a whole video on that last night, so I'm done with that. If you guys got nothing on it, we went about 3 hours. We could wrap it up unless you guys have another topic.
That's up to you. If you're getting bored.
I don't have any kids or my wife here. It's just my buddy sitting on the couch. I can keep going.
Exactly. So why aren't you just enjoying it? Just let it roll. Let the thing die. How long does it take for the live to go off? Is it 6 hours or 8?
I ain't know. It's 8 hours.
There you go. Go for the gusto, mate. Come on. You got no kids, nothing else. You got beers in the fridge, and you got. I mean, what the fuck? This is the one time you can actually do a mental stream.
What about that Pennsylvania school district? Intruders will be stoned by students.
Oh yeah, 40. Was that you that brought that up?
Oh well, I was.
Oh, 40 said be right back. I thought he brought that up earlier when we were talking about the protest thing with the schools.
Yeah, when they say stoned, are they meaning, you know, I mean stoned like in Saudi Arabia or?
Yeah, they have a bunch of pebbles, dude. They might as well get slingshots, but they're not even that cool.
You're kidding.
No, they're just going to get them really high, so that way they don't want to shoot anybody anymore.
Well, that's what I was wondering.
Seriously, though,
I thought it might be. I thought it might be one of the weak states.
Like,
so what? They're actually saying that they want to throw pebbles at people.
Yeah, throw rocks. Yeah.
They want to pebble people.
I guess, man.
So, any particular reason?
I guess guns are bad, but throwing rocks is cool.
Okay, well, you don't want to bring a rock to a gunfight, do you?
Okay, real quick. Hold on. Important question. I've been meaning to ask this. What Cabbage in England? What is a stone? Like when somebody says somebody's like 15 stone, is that like a unit of measurement?
Yeah, it's 13 pounds is a stone. I think 13, 12, 13. Yeah, something like that.
Was pounds too like small of a measurement? Did you have to like
No,
invent?
a pound is what they used to use as way to measure. In fact, when a pound, the currency, the English currency, the British pound.
Yeah.
That was originally when he said 1 pound, it was a pound of silver in weight. You see? Yeah. So there you go. It all goes back a long way.
I'm only asking because I've been watching a lot of Downton Abbey lately, and it came up.
Yay!
What have you got? Okay.
Yay!
Another gay in the channel. What the fuck?
I've been watching a lot of Downton. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I shouldn't judge. It's okay.
Someone's welcome.
Should I have said Doctor Who or like what?
Well, I don't know, but Downton Abbey.
I never. You know what? I fucking Doctor Who. I can't. It might be a good show, but the people over here fucking kill it.
Yeah.
No, it used to be fine. I mean, but the recent ones, like the last 4 series, have been absolute fucking shit, and they've gone full on hardcore social justice crazy bullshit in the last 3, I think, 3 series, 4 series.
I think it's funny.
Oh yeah, they totally fucked it up, man. It's
they
so
made
ridiculous.
the Doctor a woman. Her.
Well, no, that doesn't really matter. That actually works within the law of it. There's nothing wrong with it. Regeneration into a woman is not a problem. In fact, it did happen in one of the early, in the literature side of it. So there was no problem with the idea of it being a woman, but the idea that it's just a total fucking bitch who wants to, who could do no wrong, and it's the way they portray the woman,
She probably doesn't make mistakes like Doctor Who actually did,
No, and also has no personality, no character, and just basically, bullies people around and just, shouts orders at people like some fucking Nazi princess.
Like me.
Yeah, well, no, not like you, because, you defended yourself. At least you got some substance. These ones don't even have that.
See, that's how you know Doctor Who is a fictional story, because they made a woman a doctor.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah, but don't forget, she was, an OBGYN.
That I was just gonna say that. Like, I would rather my OBGYN be a woman than a man, but I have a male GP. I've been seeing him since I was like 13. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Does he treat you fine?
I mean, I've been seeing him for like 30 years or some shit.
Okay, you must do. You get dinner afterwards?
No.
I see. Is that not covered on your health plan?
Nah, probably not.
You gotta get that Obamacare.
That's what I'm on.
Obamacare?
Mm-hmm.
Obama denied you a date with your OBGYN.
What?
Okay. I found something on my phone here. All right. So, GOP donor launches gun reform group to coincide with March for Our Lives.
Oh, God.
That was probably a dumb idea. I mean, really?
Those are the
dumbass. What's up?
Those are the same people that Trump went to go visit about fucking violent video games and violent movies and violent TV shows influencing kids. I'm like,
oh God,
this is not 2002 where Marilyn Manson is the reason for all evil.
No, he's just catching up. No, he's just catching up with Gamergate now. I mean, that's the problem. I can't get this with Trump, how he's going backwards with a lot of these things. He's gone a bit weird. I mean, and he's definitely gone the authoritarian route.
Because it's been there are academic paper after academic paper that says.
Yeah, but he doesn't read anything. He doesn't read them. He doesn't know what they are.
I know, but
who's giving him advice? Who are these fucking advisors that are giving him this, feeding him this nonsense?
He can't keep one, apparently.
Well, that's true.
Oh, samples.
Oh,
Fucking spicy.
But no, I just don't see the correlation between violent media and our children. The thing is he's taking personal responsibility out of the equation and blaming it on something else.
Yeah, but there is a truth to it that, kids do imitate what they see on TV. Any kid who, going back to the days of Power Rangers, kid would watch Power Rangers, and then next thing you know, they're out, doing karate moves and, on the garden.
Well,
that's what they do. They're influential. Okay. Otherwise, if TV doesn't influence people or media doesn't influence people, then what are advertising? What is that? Just hold on. Massive.
Well.
Look, when I was a kid, I used to play GTA Vice City, right? And I would play for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And sometimes I would want to get in my car and go on the sidewalk and plow over a bunch of hookers and take their money. But I knew, because of the discipline that was put in me, hey, you shouldn't kill those hookers and take their money.
Well, yeah, so exactly.
No, wait a minute though.
Also, that they're not going to regenerate, so there isn't going to be extra money afterwards.
Parenting has to come in somewhere.
Of course it does. Absolutely.
If I imitated something off of, let's say, Eminem's first CD or whatever, fucking tearing somebody apart just because, physically, I knew my dad would get that razor strap and just wail on my ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Get that studded leather belt.
Yeah, but
don't be gay. Absolutely. Okay, it's my dad.
Yo, fuck off.
Well,
you fuck off.
Let me say
he didn't say gimp mask.
Before we end up totally getting away from this article, let me throw this out there. So the group is Americans for Gun Safety Now. According to the organization's website, Americans for Gun Safety Now will call on Congress to take a number of steps that would tighten gun control as part of the legislative package. Those include eliminating
package.
Yeah, right. They include eliminating bump stocks, which is what all these assholes want to happen anyway. Eliminating high-capacity magazines and armor-piercing ammunition, and expanding universal background checks. You stupid fucks! That we already have background checks. I don't know how many different ways you have to say that. We have them, and they work. You know when they don't work? When you're buying a gun from the fucking crack dealer in the back alley. That's when the background check don't work.
Well, I will say with Columbine, I will say Kmart selling those kids the bullets.
Oh, that was fucking funny.
I'm just saying. I know it doesn't happen anymore, but way back when that was a big fucking deal.
Yeah, but this is the thing, right? Way back when, people didn't really, they weren't concerned about the fact that you had to sell, what changed that made kids want to go and shoot things up, right? The reason that Kmart was willing to sell those bullets to those kids was because until then, kids hadn't been so fucked up, so socially misappropriated that they end up going in and start shooting shit up. So there was no reason that Kmart wouldn't sell them that stuff, because until that point, there weren't any. Where did the mental cases come from? That's the point I'm saying. Is what drives people to those points, and this is what usually is the case, right? Because all the laws tighten up around one single case. So you got the Columbine, the trench coat mafia go in and do their thing, and then you got to tighten up everything around one particular incident. But nobody actually questions why those kids, were doing that stuff. And the fact is, they were fucked up kids and they didn't get on with their peers. The same as that kid who was in California. The one who went up and shot up the mall, and just because he couldn't get a date.
Well, it's like the Parkland shooter. I'm glad he's alive, so we can put battery cables to his balls and find out what the fuck.
Well, you might end up at least, fractionating his brain or something, finding which.
Oh hell, he probably is going to get off. That's the other thing.
See, I think Cabbage is onto something with the whole, media influencing people's behavior. I definitely had my first gay experience because of Power Rangers, for sure.
Dude, me too. The Pink Ranger. Holy shit, man.
Yeah.
Oh, she was my first girl crush.
My first gay experience was because of the boo bars. I mean, come on. How can you resist it?
Dude, that pink Power Ranger though, dude. Whoa.
Since you guys are just rambling on about TV now, I'm not going to click on this article, but what do you think about this?
Steven Spielberg. Come on.
Click on the article, you faggot.
Steven Spielberg argues. You done? You done?
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe. Yep, I don't know.
Okay. Let's see. Steven Spielberg argues Netflix films shouldn't qualify for Oscar nominations.
Oh, I saw that.
What do you guys think?
I saw that.
Yeah, what do you think?
He just mad because he sucks.
Yeah,
Steven Spielberg, bird.
I mean, he was cool back in the day. Now we're doing a Raiders of the Lost Ark 22. Harrison Ford tries to find his fucking reading glasses or something. So, of course, Steven Spielberg's going to be like, no, Netflix, you shouldn't get anything, even though their movies are pretty good.
Yeah, it sounds to me like he's getting the amount of ass pain that a sulfuric acid enema might cause.
Well, the entire movie industry, like, as we know it, is changing because of Netflix, Amazon, with their streaming service, Hulu, etc., because they're making original content, and it's good original content. That's the thing.
Some of it.
Well,
but and don't forget, YouTube is now going over to the the full-on cable.
No one talks
format.
about YouTube.
Yeah, well, they don't talk about it, but there are people who are willing to buy into it. Because, I mean, even if they won't admit it, it's like one of those little hidden secrets. I mean, I wouldn't pay for anything. I'd fucking use Pirate Bay,
No, but here's the thing, though. Spielberg has a point when you consider this.
That's right, child.
What the fuck just happened there?
That didn't come from my house. No, but he has a point when you look at they give out these awards usually to the big blockbuster movies in the theater. So even when they had straight to DVD movies in the past, even if it was a good movie, it was never considered. So why should Netflix be considered? Because they're pretty much straight to DVD. That's how they run their operation.
Yeah.
But instead of DVD, it's digital. Okay, let's not,
I mean, it's like indie films, right? Indie films usually get most of their recognition at Cannes or the Toronto Film Festival or Sundance. So, I mean, maybe Netflix should make their own awards. I don't fucking know, but some of their shit's pretty good. Like,
but who needs awards? Yeah, but why do you need awards? Look, you don't need awards. Awards are effectively the amount of money you take home, right? You don't need somebody else to come and pat you on the back. I mean, you've already been patted on the back by the fact you made some ridiculous amount of money. I mean, that's already done. I don't understand these awards ceremonies.
I have an unpopular opinion.
Stupid.
I didn't like Black Panther. I'm racist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then again, could you tell him apart? You don't even know which one it is.
Wow. What the fuck? I actually like Black Panther. He's one of my favorite Avengers.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
Black guys right now. So what's happening?
I didn't much. I didn't much care for the movie. I tried. Okay.
You flicked that bean and it still wasn't working.
Yeah. They kind of frown on that though. Like, I don't know. And then on Facebook, I got called a racist a lot because that meme that's going around that's like, blah, blah, blah is whatever, change my mind.
Yeah.
And that's a Crowder thing. Yeah, that's a Crowder one.
And one of them was the Confederate flag is racist, change my mind. And I got into this huge argument. I'm like, well, I can't change your mind if you're unwilling to listen. And then this dude is like, don't bother defending that racist piece of shit, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know what? You cut off a man's nose, then give him a rose to smell? What the hell kind of echo chamber are you living in?
It's bizarre.
It's
It
weird.
really is. You know, the Confederate flag, we have the same thing with the English flag, you know, the cross of St. George. You know, we're not allowed to use that because apparently that's racist.
And then
You know,
some black girl.
The flag of England. Yeah.
And then this black girl, because I said the American flag actually flew over slave ships. And the rebel flag didn't ever do that.
And you know, the only reason that there was no fucking African flags on those slave trading ships was because they were too stupid to know how to build a fucking boat. They were the ones who were selling them, and they didn't know how to make flags. So, you know.
So this black,
I don't think we've got a lot to apologize for.
This black chick is like, you're double racist, and I'm like, okay. And the final like topping on this shit cake was like, you know, you keep chomping at the bit, but they're not gonna want you to sit at their fucking table. And I'm like, bitch, who says I want to sit at their fucking table? Shut the fuck up. I make my own goddamn table, you cunt.
Yeah, I mean, well, why would she think that you'd want to have to sit at somebody else's table? I don't.
Well, like the white
assumption.
Like apparently, she was assuming that I'm a white ethno state thing, racist. I don't fucking know.
Wait, you're not?
That white ethno state.
Dude, I'm for the
No. I mean, how could she be? She wants Lesbos. She's already
I'm on the
Greek
Lesno
island.
state. I need the Lesno state. All right, dude.
Okay. Real quick about the I had my mic off. I thought I was talking, but Spielberg wants to eliminate Netflix movies from being voted on for Oscars. Here's the thing about that. I'm an you know, have you guys heard of IATSE, the Stagehands Guild?
No.
Or
No.
guild
No.
Union. They
Unions.
Yeah.
Collective bargaining? Are you kidding me?
Dude, fuck off.
What is this? The Middle Ages?
Are you for real, man? You want?
Oh, I'm joking, man.
Okay, all right. Anyways, IATSE is the Stagehand Guild. Anybody who's part of the Film Actors Guild or IATSE, I know it's SAG, but I call them the FAG. If you're part of the Stagehands Guild or the Screen Actors Guild, you can you get a vote on what movies get nominated for Oscars and whatnot. And thing is, as long as Netflix uses union labor on their movie productions, and there's nothing that Spielberg can say about it.
But do they? I don't know what union labor consists of.
I had heard that
movies.
they do.
Because I know actors have their own union, like big actors. But typically in these Netflix movies or shows, they're not very big actors.
See, I'm not very familiar with Hollywood in the sense that I joined IATSE so I could get into concerts for free by working the lights.
Very nice.
But so I'm not 100% sure how Hollywood works. But you do have.
No one knows how Hollywood works, dude. It's the Illuminati.
No, dude, you just diddle kids and you rape women. And that's it.
Apparently.
So, I don't know if Netflix is doing it the same way Hollywood does, because I know Hollywood is, basically run by the mob. So they're everyone there is forced into being
They're
union,
run by the Jews.
The Jews.
There we go. That's what I was waiting for. Right there. Go ahead and finish your thought, and then I'm going to transition.
Okay.
I have another story, and it's about Israel, so that's what I was waiting for. You guys always bring up the Jews, so I was just waiting for it.
Jews.
Matt Dodge, when are you going to get an echo modulator?
Yeah, dude, you need to get one.
Okay, so anyways, I don't know, because you're right, Netflix doesn't really use a lot of big name, actors, so I don't really know if it's all union, but I mean, pretty much just look at the credits at the end of it. If you see the IATSE symbol or the SAG-AFTRA logo, it's probably union, so they probably do get a say in Oscar noms.
Yeah, I mean that would make sense, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and get a what modulator? I don't even know what you're talking about.
An echo modulator.
The echo's not coming from me. I've been muting most.
No. It's like a sound modulator that you use if you run your microphone input on your computer through a soundboard. You can make it sound like an echo.
Oh well, I would need a soundboard first. That would be a good start. But no. Okay, so remember 40 ounce. I know you probably remember. Israel is going to expel 25,000 asylum seekers, right?
Really?
You don't remember that? We talked about that on the Redeye like 2 or 3 weeks ago. They're from the Sudan mostly, and fuck trying to say that name. But the Sudanese asylum seekers. Eritrean.
Nigger. I win.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, there you go. But now they're taking to the streets in Tel Aviv to protest plans to be deported. And there's about 25,000 people participating in the rally, and they were going to deport about 25,000 people. Why not just round them all up at this rally? Just saying. No, nobody's got nothing on that one, huh?
Now, what I would like to say, I'm gonna preface this by saying that I do enjoy the music of Modest Yahoo, the Hasidic Jewish reggae artist. So that makes me fully qualified to say that I.
Makes you fully qualified to say, "Fuck the Jews. I hate this music."
Isn't there like a British rapper who's Muslim and talks about jihad?
Oh yeah. Yeah, he was in Ridiculous. Did you ever see that?
Yeah, I love that movie. So
yeah, that's the guy. I think that's the guy you're thinking of. He's a total fucking whack job.
Yeah, he's like this big. I thought big guy, and he's talking about he has the right to dissent, but no one else does.
Exactly.
And he calls bullshit on that, and I'm like, "Fuck you, bro."
So funny. The guy just doesn't understand. It's like, well, if you can do that, surely you can have it done to you. It's like, no, can't do that to me. Because
I have a lot of respect for Bill Maher because he's the only liberal comedian who goes after Islam.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, I don't, because he's still going after every fucking show. The the Bill Maher show. Time thing. He still keeps using the Pissgate thing as if it's real. He's still trying to reinforce all of these bullshit things about Trump, which have already been totally, discredited, and he's still using them as joke matter. It's like,
okay, look,
come on.
Look, he had Ann Coulter on his show. That's enough.
Doesn't wash. No, sorry, the guy is still slimy.
Cabbage, tell me if this washes, because this is what Israel is trying to do. The Israeli government has ordered the migrants to leave for an unnamed African destination. In exchange, they will get $3,500 American and a plane ticket. Or if they don't leave, they will be locked up indefinitely, so forever. Other asylum seekers were deported to Uganda and Rwanda, so that's probably where they're going. The plan was delayed, but Israel's Supreme Court is gonna rule on it. So who knows how they'll rule? But last I checked, when you got deported out of a country, they didn't pay you. They're giving them $3,500 each for 25,000 migrants.
Well, they call it but they call it resettlement.
Yeah, but isn't it funny that Israel can pay people they don't want to be in their country to leave, but if Western Europeans do it, it's somehow mysteriously racist.
Well, yeah, and also, of course, because the European Union, the free movement of people, the treaties that we signed up to before Angela Merkel went completely fucking tonto and started inviting anyone and everyone into Europe.
Hey, oh, Mad Dog, you're gonna get so jealous, right? You know Rebel Sun, right?
Yeah.
They come into my town like 10 minutes up the road.
Biker chick.
Okay. Oh, that's awesome.
Rebel Sun is this like I would say hellbilly kind of band. They love the rebel flag and like David Allan Coe, if you've ever heard of him.
Okay, but do they?
No.
How much of their music is about tranny dongs? Just asking for a friend.
How much is it? How much of it is LGBTQ relevant?
Wait, what did Joan Wall say? I'm sorry.
I said how much of their music is about tranny dongs?
Is it LGBTQ? You know, accessible?
No, like my favorite song by Rebel Sun is "Southbound Wind" or something like that. That's a really good song. "Mr. Confederate Man" is my son's favorite song by Rebel Sun. He just does like Confederate music and shit.
Yeah,
he doesn't even drop the N-bomb. Like I wouldn't even attribute him to David Allan Coe because of that reason.
Well, I mean, but David Allan Coe, not in every one of his songs he dropped the N-word.
No, you're absolutely right. But he he got really big, and then he started dropping that type of music and got ostracized. But he did that.
Rebel Sun does have a lot of really sexual songs, which I completely dig. They're a good band. I enjoy them.
You can't turn a whore into a house or into a lady. That's a good one. Can't turn a whore into a lady.
Whorehouse Cadillac. That's a good one too. Cabbage, you would like it, I promise.
No, it sounds like Freeman. Is it Kinky Friedman?
Who?
Kinky Friedman. You know, the Texan guy. What's his? He was a governor in Texas or whatever. You know, a friend of Alex Jones. I mean, he's a musician, and he does those sort of tunes as well, I think. No? You don't know him?
Yeah, no. I'm surprised I haven't heard of him because I used to watch Alex's show all the time.
Yeah, Kinky Friedman. No, he's had cigars with him on the shows and stuff. I mean, but he does. He's a musician. I think it's Kinky Friedman. I don't know. I could be wrong. It's Kinky something.
But yeah, gonna go see him. Very excited.
When's that happening?
In May.
All right, so your face will be fixed by then.
Yeah, my wife does not want to go. She's like, she hates it. She hates their music so much. It's great.
Why? She's liberal. Are you going?
Haven't I explained this? Like, my wife is really liberal.
Well, like, yeah, kind of. I didn't think really liberal. I just thought, you know, relatively liberal. I didn't think it was radical liberal.
Like, she's not a radical either. She just...
Hey, Mad Dodge.
I don't know.
I need you to do me a huge favor. I need you to kick me really quick.
Oh, he likes a bit of S&M. Help me. Go on. Put the ball gag on.
There, I kicked him out. I don't know why, but there.
If you kicked him, he can't get back in. You then... there is a way of getting back in.
And I'm trying to get Upchurch over here. Fucking bullshit.
Oh, yeah, since it sounds like we're winding down anyway, Struggle Jennings put out a new album yesterday. I haven't checked it out yet, but I was going to do that.
Check out Adam Calhoun. He just dropped his... You know, the guy who does the Antifa video with Upchurch?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, if you send 40 another invite, then that will supersede the bounce. So if you want him back in. What the fuck is that in the background?
Some kid shit.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Can't help it.
But no, I can do that, or we can just wrap it up. We're at about 4 hours. I mean, I'm about
Oh my
done.
God,
I don't
then
have any
wrap
more
it up.
subjects.
Then wrap it
Yep.
up. Jesus.
All right.
Big
God.
pussy.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, you guys
gonna
are
go
just
for the gusto.
talking in circles. No.
About what?
No, we got the
Well, no,
100th
there was no
episode coming up
circles.
soon.
Yeah.
We got the 100th
No
episode
circles.
coming up on Wednesday, Cabbage.
Different topics going on.
But yeah, this has been the Redeye stream number 98. Have a good night, everybody, and good luck.